Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're here to start the show for Weebs of the Ring, episode 70. If you missed episode 69, we already have switched the position for 70. We're here, the third hour is dead, the last until Netflix of next year, January 6th, because this is Monday Night Raw coverage of September 30th, or as you see in the live stream wise, we started on October 1st. We're entering the new last quarter of the year, and you know what is time for the Stampede. What are we talking about for tonight? Our main event, the headline story, was the last monster standing. Braun Strowman versus Bronson Reed. We have tsunamis. We have barricades breaking. We had the ring breaking. We're going to discuss, was this a good last man standing match compared to others? And this wasn't the first one for our boy Braun Strowman. Let's see if this compares to others. And then after that, for our main storyline, our world title, Gunther and Sami for next week. He finally accepts the match. Are you happy about this? Was you entertained by him being afraid by our boy Gunther? And then for our midcard stories, we have Jey Uso being the new Intercontinental Champion, opening Monday Night Raw. The New Day, maybe perhaps still brewing some issues going on here. We have Kofi Kingston versus Chad Gable. We had Xavier Woods taking up the mask of Rey Mysterio by accidental. But then we have Lyra Valkyria versus Zoey Stark with the Pure Fusion Collective still slacking or supposedly telling people that they run Monday Night Raw, which in that actuality is like, since when do you do that, guys? Because the fuck? And then we have our last three conversations is Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. We have the Judgment and Shenanigans continue. And then we have the last one that's going to be run by quick because it was quick. It was AOP versus Awesome Truth. So if you heard a rundown, if you heard the Stampede of what would be our discussion, then don't forget. Like the video, like the stream. Don't forget, if you want to be entertained by us, let us know your thoughts about such show. Comment down below. Give us your feedback. And if you're new to the channel, and if it's your first time, let yourself be entertained by us. Other than that, let's get on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and ignorant children of the Isles, what is up? What is good? It is your boys with the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Hopefully you guys have had a good Monday and all that jazz. We are, of course, coming to you live right after the show. Well, a little bit after the show, but whatever. That's besides the point. We're here with Monday Night Raw. If you are an old person coming into the stream, welcome, welcome as always. Glad to see you returning to the stream. But if you are new, well, don't worry. Don't you fret. We're here to react. We're here to give you all the knowledge and all the know-how to the wrestling because we have anime in our souls and we've got thoughts of wrestling out of control. And tonight, as always, we are a trio of weebs who love this entertainment known as professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the event of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. So be sure to grab your steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through this experience unlike any other. We are brought to you by AniMa Studio, and again, this is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, your world champion Hawkins here, and I am joined by two other lovely gentlemen. First off, the CM on my right, we have the legend himself, Vash. Vash, how you doing, buddy?
I don't know what the CM meant, but I'm going to take that in consideration what's in my head like the chairman. I'm going to go with that flow. The visionary, legendary Vash has returned on a Monday night show that will be here for Monday night tonight, NXT, Sidecast tomorrow, and then Friday, we here for the week. Vash is here. And I wasn't the only one that returned. Oh boy, the name that I used, the slogan, the visionary, Seth freaking Rollins returns. It's Monday Night Raw next week, so I can't wait.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And on my left, he is the punk that helps keep me straight and narrow, the genius of the ring himself. Drop this box drop. How you doing this evening?
Doing pretty good.
Good, excellent. And if you don't understand the references I was making with that intro, well, don't worry, we'll get into that when we talk about Drew and CM Punk later on. But as we do with every Monday night, we get right into the action, right into the stories, right into the nitty gritty of it all. We have our headline story of the night. We had two giant kaiju monsters just tearing it up tonight. We had the Godzilla himself, Braun Strowman, going up against the King Kong, Bronson Reed, destroying the ring, breaking barricades, smashing chairs, and kind of collapsing a ring. I don't
Um,
know. And of course, the human character doing his things. But Vash, I hear you want to have some thoughts on this match. What do you think?
I just
Tell
want to
me,
say,
talk to the
look,
people.
I don't know if it's a smile on my face, but just for Wade Barrett calling them Optimus Prime versus Megatron, I don't know if this was like a segue to try to promote Transformers One, even though they didn't promote it. So it was a nice just to hear that reference, and like it's just awesome to hear pop culture reference in wrestling at times and comparing like like we did Godzilla guy with a kaiju's here and everything. Um, I just feel like Megatron is Braun Strowman, and then Bronson Reed is
Mhm.
Megatron. So if anybody disagrees with me, let me know, because
Wait.
that's what I felt like Wade Barrett was saying. This match was great, but I would have liked more destruction, if that makes sense. I felt like it was a lot of catching your breath, going around the ring, from the ring to down the ramp, up to the video, to the table
Mhm.
on the side, then back to the ring, and then back to the announcing table. It felt like a bit spread out. I kind of miss my chaotic matches of Last Man Standing, of how they used, like compared to one that happened last year. Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura was a really nice Last Man Standing, I believe they had last year.
Mhm.
Also, John Cena had a few great ones years ago, back in the early 2000s, and those were really great Last Man Stands that were also going to the parking lot and everything. That was all involving around. But for this one, like overall, like I said, it was a bit scattered, but I liked what I saw. The the ring breaking, I 100% agree. It felt like very anticlimactic. It felt like it just
Mhm.
happened. I didn't really feel like any type of substance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because like when I look back to some of the other rings breaking, I mean, whenever I think of a ring imploding, the immediate thought is the Brock Lesnar Big Show one because I saw that shit live. Like I mean live on TV obviously, but like
Mm-hmm.
I saw that blew my little mind when that happened. But like yeah, this one was just I don't know, it was just weird. It felt too staged, if that makes sense. And I think that's kind of like the sentiments you were going with, where it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
like
we're
having
going to like this point and then this point, and then we have to move, meander over here to this point. Yeah.
And plus, having the security guards added extra flavor, but it felt like the security guards just got was acting. It wasn't feeling within the
Hmm.
vibe of what the arena was giving the audience. Because the audience was great this night. It was good. Also, very proud for Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman to give a main event for a 3-hour show, the
Yeah.
last 3-hour show of Monday Night Raw for the rest of the year. So, really, congrats to them. Also, hosting a great main event. Could have been better, yes, but I feel like
Hmm.
it's their fault on the timing and the issues, and try to coordinate a lot of moving pieces in a big stage is very hard, and a lot of things could go wrong. So not taking any away from their efforts, but even for example, just off the top of my head, when Bronson Reed did when he did the second tsunami, then he got mad at the ref, like, yo, ref, come over here. Like, I felt like he
Oh,
was about to, speak fatality, like, come over here. But then
yeah.
he literally grabbed two fucking security guards where he barely did shit to them, and then he just threw them inside the ring. I'm like, I guess, sure. That don't really seem like you was throwing them and pushing them down the ring like nothing crazy. But they had
Yeah.
to make it feel believable. And then security guards, Adam Peters, all of them gather around in one corner, and Braun Strowman kind of took too long, where I felt like the security guards was holding everyone in place, which I kind of
Hmm.
felt a bit,
Hmm.
again, like stage, which makes sense, it has to, but it
Yeah.
felt like too stage, where it's too obvious for the crowd or the camera. Like, it's fine if the audience sees the stage part, but let the camera
Hmm.
don't catch that too much. That was my quick thoughts of what you brought up.
Yeah, and I have a bone to pick with the security guard and ref shit. Like I have a bone to pick with that. But before we pick that bone, drop, I want to hear from you. What were your thoughts on this match? overall, I guess, and just moving forward, do you share like the same sentiments that me and Vash did here, or or do you think differently?
I personally was expecting a little more out of this match because
Mm,
the way that they were building up their feud and everything, these guys were going all over the arena. Like they weren't in one spot. They were going backstage. They were wrecking a whole bunch of like production in the backstage. So I thought it was going to be one of those things because you got to keep in mind this isn't like a normal one-on-one match where there's like disqualifications or countouts. Like when you're in a last man standing match, you could literally go anywhere you want. The only thing that you got to keep in mind is you got to be up before the 10 count. If you're not, then you
mhm.
lose the match. So I was expecting them to like take this to the back room. I was
Yeah.
expecting them to just go chaotic back there, and I was hoping this would be the main event because it would make sense to end the show like this, and it did. But I was expecting a lot more destruction. And same thing with the ring, like you said. I felt like it was very anticlimactic. Like I was expecting it to be a bigger spot than it was because
Hmm.
when I was looking at a lot of those certain spots they do when they want to break the ring and stuff, the ring usually falls flat like all the way through.
Yeah.
Like I remember when Mark Henry and
This
Big
is
Show had
what
a
I'm saying.
match. I remember
Mhm.
Mark Henry was going, I don't know if it was Mark Henry or Big Show going for a suplex, but as soon as one of those
Yeah.
guys hit the ring, the whole thing was like flat, like almost at the point where it wasn't even on its legs anymore. Like it was completely flat like a mat. So I was expecting it to go down that direction. So
Well, even look at what Brock and Roman did like a couple years ago at
yeah.
SummerSlam.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's like you're building up this to be like this big crazy fight. I was expecting a lot more destruction because you can only
yeah,
get me so much when you go through like one of the announce tables and stuff like this. Like the way that these guys been at each other's throats, I was expecting a lot more, especially since this is more than likely the conclusion to their feud because after this they're more than
mhm,
likely not coming in contact with each other, especially when you have Seth Rollins getting involved, which I am happy for him to come
Oh,
back.
I was so happy.
And
yeah,
I also expected him to come back anyway tonight because they were teasing it earlier when Bronson Reed had that interview and he was saying how, next time he wants to take years of his life away and stuff like that. And normally they do stuff like that for a reason because they're trying to build up to it. So as soon
yeah,
as I saw Bronson Reed getting up and I saw a guy come out, I was like, yeah, that's going to be Seth Rollins. Because Seth Rollins
mhm.
has been all over social media recently.
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna mention that. Like, he's been at football games that they've
yeah,
been like showing him like on like mainstream media and all that. So it's like, okay,
yeah.
he's coming back soon.
What's funny
And it
is
was
that
only,
it's just him by himself without Becky, so she's probably at home just taking a vacation still and being off
yeah.
social
I mean,
media
yeah,
and also
I
taking
don't
care of the
blame
kid,
her.
which I don't blame her. But it's just funny how
Yeah,
smart they're also making it seem like Becky's still out, like hasn't been on online on social
Yeah.
media. Like, yeah, she does her own press stuff for a book too and everything, but hasn't been as publicized as Seth this past weekend.
yeah,
Yeah. And like, so with him coming back, I mean, it made sense the way that the match ended because after they were building up Seth Rollins earlier in the show, I wasn't really expecting Bronson Reed to win because
hmm,
obviously Seth has to get his revenge at some point. And if you want to continue their feud and go back to where you left it off, obviously Seth has to be the one standing tall. And then that gives Bronson Reed a reason to come out next week and call him out. And then that's when you start building up to that match that more than likely probably will happen at like what Crown Jewel or something like that. So
yeah,
it only makes sense why it went down that direction. So
hmm,
that's a good thing to see that they're going to have a match with one another.
yeah, yeah. And I'm looking forward to their match as well with that.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to start picking my bone with these security guards and especially the
They
damn
didn't need to
ref.
be out there.
Like, no, okay. Well,
What was
okay.
the
So here's
ref
the thing.
with the fucking security guards? Why was he not focused on the match? Your job, ref, is not to
Exactly,
worry about the
exactly.
front
Why?
row.
like if it would be one thing if the security guards weren't out there and the ref is distracted trying to make sure that the people were safe. That would be one thing. But as soon as the security guards got out there, the ref should have gone to the ring, because that's the thing. Like, now Bronson Reed has, because that's why he was so mad. That's why he like grabbed Pierce through all the security guards and all that. Like, he could have had that match won. And so now he has a reason to be like, oh, I should have won that match, blah, blah, blah. But, like, my other bone to pick with him, too, is it's like, throughout the night, they were hyping up, being like, okay, we need to contain them in the ring, like, keep this in the ring. So it's like, okay, you're going to try to keep all the action in there. So we're not going into the back. We're not doing all that. Okay. Because with that being said, I was expecting kind of like I mean, not necessarily like a lumberjack match, but at least having like the security guards around like the entrances or the exits, like when they were try to go back there, they would be like, no, 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 you guys got to stay in here, because that would have made a little bit more sense to keep us in like the ring area and all that. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why we didn't do it that way and then like have the masses of them like kind of converge like that. Because I mean, that would have been kind of a cool visual. Like them, like the security guards like slowly like trying to keep them away from it. Like they're just like enclosing the ring a little bit until like you get that spot with like Braun Strowman jumping off the top rope and all that.
Oh yeah,
I really like how Adam Pierce got involved. I don't know if anybody had a smile on his face, on their face.
Oh yeah.
If anybody saw the promotion that came out with Adam Pierce earlier today, when he was like, "Oh, Monday Night Raw is chaotic. It's not organized and all that." Well, I
did that for a reason.
Yeah, I did it for a reason. I drafted the most chaotic people to, what's the best show? Not SmackDown. Fuck SmackDown. Monday Night Raw is where it is. I'm like, okay, I see how you're spinning it. I love how he's spinning the comments that people have been saying of how Adam Pierce doesn't have a organized show, is more chaotic. So I love the balance that the writers slash Adam Pierce is spinning this around for himself as a creator and as the general manager on screen. So I really love that. And being involved with even Bronson Reed. Like, Bronson Reed and him have not been seeing eye to eye for a while. So for even Bronson Reed to just come at him on his neck, that was very foretelling. And it just shows that how serious Bronson Reed has been over the past couple of weeks and why he was doing what he's doing, because he was frustrated. And I love showing that frustration on screen. Like, when he screamed, "Ref!" I felt he was angry. I felt that embodiment of emotions off screen, and that to me really helps the emotion of the match. Where he could have won this match, like Walken said. Like, hey, he already had a tsunami, 1 and 2 down. He was about to do a third one, but then he was tired of waiting. So I really love just showing the emotions of your wrestler on screen.
See, if I was Bronson Reed, I would have just kept doing the tsunamis. I mean, he wants to do like 5 or 6 of them to R-Truth. I mean, why not do like 10 of them to Braun Strowman?
So that's what I thought was going to happen when he kept going up. I thought he was like, all right, cool, last man standing. I'm going to continue to do my thing. But I'm guessing, like, script-wise, timing-wise, I don't know what held or changed him. But I wish, like, 10 tsunamis just kept going back and forth, kept going back for at least 5. Like, hey, if R-Truth can handle 5, Braun Strowman should handle 7.
Yeah, because like even within like the first minute or 2 of the match, you get Bronson Reed going through the announce table. Like,
like 2 minutes.
That's like the start of your match. Yeah, so it's just like, okay, we're starting off hot with this, and like we still get some good spots and all that, but it's just like it could have been more, really, I think, is what our main point is here. But like, I mean, I'm not really mad with the booking either, because like with Bronson Reed going down like this, again, he's not getting pinned or submitted or anything, and there was interference, and plus like with Bronson Reed, this is kind of part of his own comeuppance since attacking Seth, so it's starting to come full circle with him now. At the end of all this, I'm kind of hoping he does go over Seth, though. Just kind of building him up.
I do too, because that would be the right move. Because, like I mentioned before, Seth's pretty much at the point where he's already a built talent. I mean, He's pretty much untouchable at this point. If you throw something at him, he's still gonna be standing up tall. So if he puts over Bronson Reed, that's going to do wonders for Bronson Reed, because that's going to propel him to bigger levels. Like, he could potentially even be a contender for Jay's IC title down the line if they definitely want to go down that direction. Because it's clear to me that Ron Breaker, which we'll talk about a little bit later, has his eyes set on something else, which I have no issues with. But getting back to the topic at hand, it would just make sense for them to do it. And then if hypothetically Seth wants to go over in the next match, I mean, hey, so be it. But you obviously have to just take advantage of what you're doing with Bronson Reed right now, because this is the hottest that he's been. This has been the best version of Bronson Reed. And the thing that they did well was to use him for what he's known for and for his size, to cause a lot of destruction. And they managed to do that very well. So that's what I'm saying. Next week on Raw, the build throughout October, and then that Saudi show, more than likely you'll see the match there. And then maybe you'll get a rematch on some Raw, or maybe at Survivor Series or something. I'm not entirely sure. It's really hard to predict where things are. But I'm definitely pretty confident on a Seth versus Bronson Reed being at a Saudi show.
Same here.
Which is shocking how they've been promoting Survivor Series. They've been promoting the Saturday Night.
Well, that's the one that,
and they already have been promoting Royal Rumble with a poster as well. They just haven't shed one promotion for Crown Jewel, which I'm okay with as well. But
it's because it's not as important as their other flagship.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the reason.
Plus, they get enough money. They get enough money from like the Saudi princes with all that, and like those shows pretty much make their own money.
Yeah, because that's a whole different type of audience with a whole different country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I thought the match was fine, like, but it just could have been more. It made me just crave more.
What's funny is that when I saw Seth Rollins running down, I didn't know it was Seth. I just saw somebody running down. Once I saw the setup where Bronson Reed was trying to get himself up on the step ladder, and then I saw the setup of what was going to happen, I'm like, oh, that's definitely Seth Rollins, because the next couple of seconds, he's about to do the stomp. And literally 2 seconds later, the stomp happened. I'm like, yeah, that was Seth. And later he turns to looks to the crowd. Everyone's just smiling. I'm like, yeah, Seth, no worries. I get you.
Yeah. I like how Seth came out right at 11 o'clock, too. Like, I looked at my phone, and I'm like, huh, it's 11 o'clock. This match is still going. Oh, there's Seth.
Yeah, like, the match was over within, like, 10:58 to 11 on the dot. Like, within those 2 minutes, the match was set, boom, up, boom, done, match done.
Yeah.
Also, Bronson Reed's cell just on those steps, like the
right, like
he has the perfect, like I'm dying cell.
Bro literally had his head only, and the rest of the staircase was like like a gap. So it literally was holding himself. Anybody please go watch the clip again. It's literally his chin holding his head, and then the knees. He literally probably has to be holding his abs, his stomach, or his back just to hold that body weight. Because there's no way your chin is holding all that for that long. He probably has to hold that onto the cameraman. All right, guys, we're not live anymore.
Yeah.
Oh man,
good monster fight though.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. And of course, Godzilla has to go on top, so,
that is
gotta
true.
be king of the monsters.
We didn't mention this. He is still undefeated. He has 6 matches now, undefeated as last man standing, even though I do not remember his other 5.
And I didn't realize that until they said that on commentary. I was like, oh, I guess he is undefeated in last man standing matches.
The way that you're phrasing this right now is like Godzilla was actually in WWE, so you're talking about how he has an undefeated streak. That's why I started laughing.
Oh yeah. No, I saw that fight. I saw Godzilla X Kong. I saw that movie. I saw that suplex on the pyramid. I saw that shit.
Actually, I think they did do something like that.
Hey, it works out.
Oh, it was great.
Eventually,
exactly.
We could also review that for Anime Little Podcast, since that consider horror theme, maybe?
We did talk about it a little bit, I think.
I wouldn't say that.
No, it's not. All right, cool. I was trying to find an
No.
excuse to
May-
try to find a way to do coverage for you.
Maybe the older ones, but not.
Yeah,
I
just
wouldn't say
branch out and
Godzilla
then
X
work.
Con.
Yeah.
True,
Yeah.
but overall, this Monster 5 Tsunami and everything, they started at 10:40, last 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Could have been slightly better, but overall, I was entertained. Good main event.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wanted to be better, with like more chaotic, but like Adam Pearce was telling us in the beginning, with those fake ass security guards, that was probably some type of wrestler, because there's no way, if anybody noticed, when CM Punk came out, there's no way we all saw that 6'3" or 6'5" dude type of security guard. No way that dude is a security guard. That dude has to be a wrestler. There's no way.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's the thing. They just grab like some of the local talent, and they're just like, "Hey, you want to earn a quick buck tonight? Yeah, sure. All right, great. Put the security guard outfit on. You want to get destroyed by
Yeah.
Braun Strowman? Wait, what?
I will never forget when Paul Heyman said, "I have the best New York City finest," and then gets fucking crossroads by Cody Rhodes.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
But hey, you know what? I think we're done talking about monsters and destruction and all that. Let's mosey on down to our
About our
world title
fears.
picture.
let's talk
Because
about our
like
emotions.
I'm sorry. At one point tonight I thought we weren't gonna get Gunther on the show at all, and you guys were about to hear another rant. I was about to be canceled
No
if we
lie,
weren't gonna get Gunther tonight.
I did forget about
Yeah.
him. No lie, until he popped in the screen. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot we have Gunther. No, like, I'm
Yeah.
not even kidding
am
you.
going.
Throughout the
I'm
whole
going to come
throughout
up
the
there
hour
in New
and
York.
40 minutes of 9:40, I was literally writing my long ass text that I sent to the team chat earlier. I was literally writing throughout that since 8 p.m. I was literally writing that, and then I saw Gunther like, oh shit, I forgot you was on the show, my guy. What's up?
Yeah.
I'm gonna come up there in New York and give you a good old trouble in paradise.
Hey,
Mm.
I was happy. I was more happy to see my mid-card champion Jey Uso. I was more happy to see Yeet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Uh, but
But
yeah, we had some build for their
Look,
match
look,
next week,
look.
so that's
let's
cool.
just let's just be honest how it is. How did y'all feel about him saying something that we've been guessing, assuming, or probably theorizing over the past 2 weeks? I know us and maybe other IWC creators. How do you guys feel of Gunther finally answering the challenge of Sami, but speaking about emotion, saying that he's afraid, not afraid of losing
See,
to Sami, but being afraid of looking bad since he's always been the gold champion of in his family.
that's what I wanted out of this feud. I wanted there to be more
Yeah.
emotion put into it because, for the most part, it was just Sammy the entire time. Like, I get what they were doing with Gunther. They wanted to build him as this monster heel and have him say this heelish things. I understood that entire thing that they were doing with him, and it made sense. It worked, hyping up the crowd, only just do a bait and switch and not really give them the match that they wanted. I understood all of that. I have no issues with that. I just wanted to hear both of these guys, just like Sammy did, speaking from the heart. And when we saw that with Gunther, I'm like, okay, we're getting on track. I like this because I wasn't opposed to them getting a second match with one another. I just wanted to see more emotion put into it from Gunther's side. I wanted to see both of them in the ring together, seeing Gunther get to that level like Sammy does every single time when he's on the mic to really have the crowd connect with him. That's what I wanted to see with Gunther, and we got that, and I really appreciated that. And
Oh yeah,
I'm not upset that this match is next week because I did see some people online saying, why could have they just added this to Bad Blood or whatever? It really wouldn't make sense to add it at this point, to be perfectly honest, because if that was the case, you wouldn't have done it like 2 weeks ago at max.
yeah.
So at this point, it's like, just wait until next week. I mean, people are like, oh, there's no World Heavyweight Championship on the line at the show or whatever. I mean, Cody's not even defending his title,
And
so
that's okay.
I'm pretty... Yeah, and that's okay. And I'm pretty sure everything's
show.
going to be fine because when it comes to certain things that we see in the wrestling world, one of the things, like we saw last week, that WWE loves to do is to create moments. And that PLE, I can expect 2 to 3 to 4 big moments happening within that show that everybody's going to completely forget about what they said about world titles being on the show just because of the big moments that's going to be coming out of that PLD. So I'm completely fine with them taking their time with this and see where it goes, because we don't know if this is going to be extended a little bit longer with Sami and Gunther, because we know the whole rumor thing down the line, which makes sense to bring up since Gunther's the world championship, is Gunther and Punk at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out exactly what is the route that we're gonna go on first before we get to that. And they could do a little thing with Sami until like Crown Jewel or something, and then from there, because obviously, you know, Sami and Dottie, he's over as all hell. So if they wanted to extend that feud a little bit longer, build to it to, you have the match here, you could have another one at Crown Jewel. Okay, cool. So
and they easily can do that, because then they would be tied in this series. So it's like, okay, gotta have the rubber match. So why not just put it on the Saudi show? Because like you said,
no one's gonna say no to a Sami and Gunther match.
And I would love to add that people, I'm gonna take some quote words from our girl Samantha Irwin, that when Ham to the IWC a couple of days ago, chat. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna repeat what she said, because you guys should just go and look online. There's a whole tweet about it, by Russell Ops and everyone else. The reason I'm bringing this up is because the IWC will never be happy or satisfied with what we get, because people will complain that there is no title match on a regular night Monday Night Raw or a regular night SmackDown. But then we finally get a title match on Monday Night Raw next week, and you guys want to complain already. Oh, why isn't it on Bad Blood? We already have 5 matches on Bad Blood. We have a host for Bad Blood. We have 2 matches this SmackDown.
You're going to get a lot of big moments coming out of the PLE.
Exactly.
I'm not going to spoil it because I'm saving that for Friday's discussion.
Exactly. So we have already 2 matches for SmackDown that's going to be for titles. We have 5 matches on the PLE for Bad Blood. And then we have a Monday a title match now. So there's no need to every
2 title matches Monday.
2. Oh, 2 title matches Monday.
Yeah, Jey Uso and Xavier.
Jey Uso and Xavier. That's 2 matches that we're gonna get. So the whole weekend of Friday, Saturday, and Monday are already back-to-back matches and for titles. So it doesn't. I don't understand that WC that never could be satisfied, even if you guys complain about something.
And here's the other thing, IWC, since you know, see now I'm gonna poke at y'all. You know, I try to let you guys go for a little bit, but you know what? No, sometimes I do want to poke the bear a little bit. You know, you guys like to cherry pick a lot of things. Let's look at the Bad Blood card really quick. 2 title matches, and they're both women's titles.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
I'm just gonna let that simmer for a bit. I'm just gonna let it simmer. Think about that for
and
a
those
second.
are
Go in your little
main
corner.
and only title cards for the women division.
And the reason why I said I know where Watkins is going with this is because the IWC is always very vocal about women getting representation when it comes to them putting their titles on the line or getting a proper amount of screen time on television. I mean, they're
don't get me wrong. There does need to be, you know, more progress made.
Oh yeah.
However, like you gotta give them credit when it's due. You know, like shit. But anyways, that's besides the point. We're getting off topic with that. Gunther and Sami.
Maybe we should talk about some heartbreaking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because
last night, our boy AJ Dragunov faced on a beautiful match on a live event with Gunther, where the crowd must have had a beautiful sight to see, but sadly it came to a news report that our boy Dragunov has torn ACL and will be out for how much was it that you had?
6 to 9 months.
I'm pretty sure 6 to 9 months. And a big shout out to the bitch ass Gunther. He wants to quote retweet saying that weak things break.
And
I am going to go over there to Germany.
No, I actually like how he said that, because just adds more fuel to the fire when it comes to him being a heel, and also this could also lead to greater things when he comes back, because a lot of people know it's the money match. I mean, they're obviously holding off on it for a reason, because they know a lot of people are waiting to see it. So
Yeah.
obviously they want to take some time to marinate that match. And trust me, whenever it happens, when we actually see it, besides house shows, it's going to be a very special moment. So this could definitely lead into things in the future. Proper speculation instead of random ass AI generated speculation that I've been seeing online with like Chat GPT kind of things.
Winning the Royal
Where
Rumble.
yeah, where it comes to things like yeah, stuff like that, where it's like this could lead to a bigger story where it's like Gunther's talking a lot of shit, and then maybe he
Yeah.
references Ilya Dragunov or something, and then you get that pop when he comes out, and then they confront each other, and then you start finally building to the match. I mean, wrestling's built on moments, and that would be a moment to build up Ilya Dragunov as like this ultimate underdog, even though we know he's a powerhouse. They would want to build him up as like this ultimate underdog if they want to go down that direction, even though they don't necessarily need to, because he's proven many times again he's not really that. He's
Exactly.
he's the guy. But this
Plus,
could
there
lead
are
to bigger
many.
things with them.
Plus, there are many paths to get to the world title picture.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
if you're a fan of One Piece, you know that there are many paths along the Grand Line that you can go on
Yeah.
your little log pose. So Ilya Dragunov, he's just he's got to stop by Drum Island for a little bit. Get healed up before going to Alabasta.
Yeah.
So that's what he's doing right now. But like,
Great
so
reference.
with this also Vash, I am going to come up there to New York and give you a good old Trouble in Paradise for bringing up Ilya Dragunov's torn ACL. How dare you?
No, it's a sad truth, and it sucks to
It
see.
is,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
Dragunov. I hope
Yeah,
for the best of
it always
recovery.
sucks.
Hey, but
Yeah.
Ilya
Oh, yeah.
Dragunov, while you're in recovery, a big shout out to you. If you ever want to come on the podcast and get interviewed by us, please let us know. We will.
Oh, yeah.
We will definitely shoot you a DM. But hey, if you have the free time now for the next 6 to 9 months, so we'll see you
Wow.
maybe soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
what's your rate?
I'll be completely down for that, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to
we know
talk
he's
to
a
him.
big
Exactly, his anime references. He makes so many
Look,
quotes.
if you're into some games, Ilya Dragunov, there's a Dragon Ball game coming out in a couple weeks. I'll
Well,
get my ass kicked by you. Don't worry.
in a couple weeks, exactly 10 days, because we're on October 1st officially, as this stream is still going on, so 10 days from now.
Da, 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 da. But yeah, so onto this promo here. So one thing that's kind of getting to me is like they have called Gunther like a coward before and all that, and like saying, "Oh, you're scared" and all that stuff, and it's just like it's now finally starting to hit him, and it's weird because now he starts to kind of bring up his father and all that. So
Yeah.
I'm torn because like on one hand, like he's been called this for weeks now, but it's like I guess now it's finally gotten to him where it's just like, okay, you know what, fine, you want to keep bringing up your family, I'm gonna bring up my family because I'm not gonna I don't parade them around like you do, but they were there at Mania, they saw me lose, and my dad literally walked up to me and was just like, how did you lose to a bum like that? Like how did you do that? And like I like how Gunther 2 went in saying like he was like the golden child of his family, like he was the prodigal son as you were, whereas with like Sami, he had to claw and like just be in the dirt so much trying to even get a title or even a title shot, mind you. So it's like I like the because this ties very well with their IC title match at Mania, where just like, okay, you have this prestigious warrior and like this one that just came from the gutter and all that. So it's like we're going back to that story, but now it's up a level because this is the world title picture. And we even had Gunther even hyping up being on that level, being like, yeah, the money's great, the schedule's awesome, like I'm on top of the world right now. Why should I go down to your level, Sami, because of this? Like I've reached a level even beyond that of a Super Saiyan.
So it reminds me of like a David versus Goliath. That's what it reminds me of. Sammy still being the worm he is, the little insect compared to Gunther. Like he's a David, and Gunther believes he's a Goliath. He's the big giant that you can't triumph over him. He's the golden child. He has had gold around him all this time. Even I believe on commentary they have said that he is 78% has held a title throughout his WWE career. So that has
Mhm.
shown how much he has done for the company, how much he has done as a wrestler within the company as Walter to Gunther. So, like, I'm okay with him showing the wuss he is, cause I always believed that he was. So on my end, like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm glad your true colors have shown. Can't wait for you to lose against Sami once again. I'm gonna be on that
Yeah.
train.
Oh, you're on the Sammy's winning train.
Yeah, just for
Interesting.
fun,
Mm.
just because Chad thinks I hate
Mm.
Gunther, so I'm gonna just continue
Mm.
the hate train. Just just for
Mm.
the fun of it.
I hope you see Kyrie's face right now. That's the reaction.
I hope you see.
I
Your
do
mascot
I
right there.
do want to
Brandy's
talk
boob.
about I do want to talk
Brandy's
about
boob.
it. I do want to talk about another thing that was very interesting that was
Yeah.
teased, and
Oh, the last
that
segment of the
was
night.
Oh yeah. Oh
that
yeah.
was when Gunther was backstage during an interview, and Braun just comes there and he doesn't say anything. He just glances at the title, which pretty much shows you his
I just
next
want to look at it.
destination of what he wants to do. Which I'm not against it at all, because we knew that he was going to head down
Mhm.
that direction. And I know I've seen some discourse online with people saying, "Oh, it's too soon. We don't really need this right now. He's not ready." But you got to keep in mind that a couple months ago we had a segment that one of my friends actually brought out today. So shout out to you if you are watching
Mm.
this. But even like when they brought it up, I was like, yeah, I mean that's true. They did this a couple months ago, where we had that whole segment with Ilya Dragunov and Gunther a couple months ago, where they just stared at each other, didn't say a word, just teasing that
Mhm.
these guys are gonna be in a feud in like 5 to 6 or so months for now, whatever they try to do it. All this is doing right here is teasing Braun and Gunther, because we know we're eventually going to get that match down the line.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Oh,
saying
I
it's
love it.
happening next week. Nobody's saying it's happening after Sami. It's just put into place because that's Triple H telling the audience, yeah, we know you guys are talking about this. You will get it when the time is right.
Mhm.
And the kind of stuff that I've been seeing about it, like how it's rushed or anything, I don't necessarily feel like it's being rushed, because it's just teasing an event that we know is going to take place. And
Like, cause the other thing too with that as well, and I mean this ties in with the Iliad thing, and this
yeah,
ties into like the story right now with Sammy.
mm-hmm.
Who's the third person that beat Gunther?
Yeah,
Chad Gable.
that's actually an interesting thing that you brought up, because
Hmm.
with the people that are recently in contact with Gunther, it has been Sami, Ilya, and Braun Breaker, because those are the only 3 people within the WWE that has beaten Gunther.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
it,
it's
it, it
like,
is
yeah,
pretty interesting how they are actually like showing that to us. But I'm not opposed to a Braun versus Gunther, because we know we're eventually going to get it. Because that also puts an idea in my head, down the line, when it comes to certain people that could potentially dethrone him. Because outside of John Cena, and the only reason why I bring that up, because I feel like they are going to give him the 17,
yeah,
and it doesn't really matter which title it is. It's just to get the 17, which I feel like would be the perfect way to, end that send off for John Cena, even if he drops it like a month or so, with it being in a reign or whatever. It's just a nice way to just end John Cena's legacy of, okay, I finally achieved that goal. Because what is WWE like doing? They like creating moments. And I brought
yeah,
up John Cena because with Braun Breaker, those are 2 people that I could potentially see dethroning him if they decide to go down that direction. I mean, even Ilya Dragunov, I would probably throw in there as well. But
yeah.
also the thing with Braun as well that we'll talk a little bit more into is that it seems like he's baby faced now. He showed,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, if we're done talking with like
yeah. We
Sammy
might
and
as well
Gunther, we
just
can we
dive
can
into the,
actually transition. Yeah,
yeah,
we can
yeah.
transition to
That's
this next
perfect
part.
transition,
So
actually.
yeah, yeah, that like yeah, because I mean I don't have anything else to say. I can't
Not
wait
me
for the
either.
match. It's gonna be a banger. But
Oh yeah.
like so what Drop is basically saying, because like Braun Breaker came out during Jey Uso celebrating his IC title win. And he came out and he was giving respect to Jay, and I like how he worded it too. It's just like, I respect that title enough to come out here, and because of that, I respect you enough to be like, you were the better man. So like, yeah, in a way, he's kind of turned face here, and like with the tease with Gunther now, it's like, okay, we see where he's going to be leading towards now. And I like how you brought up the John Cena thing, because like this kind of goes into like a fantasy
Yeah.
booking of mine,
Oh,
because
oh, I,
I could see Braun being the one to be John Cena's last match
yeah, I
and
can see
actually
that
winning
too.
that title. Yeah,
That would
because
actually correlate pretty well. Like hypothetically, John Cena wins it off of Gunther, and then Braun Breaker is the one who eventually takes the title
yeah,
off of him. Yeah.
because like that's the thing. It's like you could, because like we're telling a really good, interesting story with Braun Breaker here, because it's like he
Mm-hmm.
came up from NXT and like he was doing the squash matches, cool, fine, whatever. Wasn't in King of the Ring, so it starts getting angry, getting frustrated, just like, oh, why aren't I getting the shots and all that stuff? So he tries to pull what current Bronson Reed is doing. Is just like, I'm just gonna destroy people. I'm gonna, get Ricochet out of WWE, like things like that. And like it's led him to a little success. He won the IC title and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's still like young and green, and it's because he's still like so full of himself, he lost that very quickly, mind you. And it's gonna lead into him. I think he is gonna challenge Gunther, and I
Yeah.
think he's going to lose that match too. And it's going to lead into him trying to figure out how he can harness his own power. And I
Mm-hmm.
want you guys to follow, because like I've got Dragon Ball in the mind right now for obvious reasons. But it's like, in a way, I can kind of see him being a lot like Super Broly is, where it's like he has all this power, all this strength, but he doesn't know how to control it. He doesn't know how to contain it in a more positive way. So it's like, he's going to be fighting Goku and Vegeta and all that stuff. And like, he's going to freak out and all that. And like, oh no, something's going to happen where like now his dad is dead because, oh, you attacked him, kind of thing. So it's like, okay, he's making all these mistakes, and like then he's gonna finally come up with a force, and that force is gonna be a leveled up Gunther now, where it's like, okay, I'm at this new level now, Braun. Can you contend with me? We contended a little bit in NXT and you got me there, but you can't stand up to me now. And that's going to be like his own Gogeta in that aspect, where it's like, okay, I just got, I just got. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be like a massacre or anything, but it's gonna be a fight where Gunther's gonna come out on top, and like it's
Mm-hmm.
really gonna start humbling Braun to be like, okay, I need to figure my stuff out, and it's gonna lead into him finally winning that big one from the biggest name of the company. But like, and I'm sure there's other nuances that they'll go, around and do twisted turns here and there, but like it was tonight, and I love these moments too. And this isn't just in like WWE, this is in like any media, whatever. I love that moment where the story finally clicks, where you finally like kind of lock in with it and be like, okay, you know what, I can kind of see the vision. I can see a vision, and I like it, and it kind of makes up for other things. Cause like I know last week when Braun lost the title, I know I was a little iffy on it. I was like, I don't know
Yeet.
if I'm feeling this, but like, exactly, yeet. And we'll get to Mr. Yeet here in just a second, but like, it's always about the follow through, and like the follow through right now, I'm digging it. I can see where the possibilities can be, and I like the
Yeah.
possibilities.
You also have to
To add,
keep in mind as well is that this is also a good way for them to help build one of their future stars in the company, because
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be somebody that's going to be main eventing multiple WrestleManias,
Oh
having
yeah.
multiple reigns when it comes to world championships, winning World Rumbles, winning Elimination Chambers, winning Money in the Bank, etc. So on. This is going to be a guy that's going to
Mm-hmm.
become a Grand Slam champion and all of that. Here he has the IC title under his belt, so there's other paths for him to follow. We're still in the early stages of his career, so
Oh yeah.
this is only the beginning to truly push him in the light that
Mm-hmm.
we know he's eventually going to be. Same thing goes of Mello in the near future, and when Trick
Yeah.
comes up in the near future, which God, I can only imagine, how much he's gonna grow. But it's like
Oh
this
man.
is just showcasing where Braun's story is gonna go.
Hmm. Exactly. But Vash, you wanted to add a little bit into
Yes,
this as well.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
right before we speak into our main event, Jay, our boy Yeet.
Hmm.
I love the direction that Braun came in. Right before we speak about Jay, what Braun did when he came in, I was unexpected because one, he actually spoke fourth wall. He said, "Hey, I'm not gonna spare you. I'm not gonna attack you.
Oh
I
yeah.
honestly just want to come here and just be the first one to shake your hand and tell you congratulations." One, um, it's hard to believe that when like maybe 20 other people shake his hand last week Monday night after he won the title. So it's like I guess the new week or the night itself, I guess like story wise is to shake your hand on screen. I guess that's what he
Hmm.
meant, and that's totally understandable. And I love what Braun did about that. He like, hey, I don't want a rematch. I'm implying by that I don't need it right now. I'm happy that you won it. The better man won. Cool. And then
Yeah.
what he meant to see Gunther, I love how he didn't speak no words. Even though I love how Gunther responded. I think he said, "You have the dog in you." I believe he said something, or he said that there is dogs out here,
I'd
something
have
like
to
that.
look it back up. Yeah.
But I wish Gunther said like, "I see a dog in you too." It's just like Jay told him last
Hmm.
week or 2 weeks ago. That would have been hilarious if Gunther actually said that. I'm like, that sounds so New York from Gunther, but sure.
Oh my gosh.
But I love how Braun just walk away. He's like, "Yeah, I just want to see how it looks." I wish he
Yeah.
said, "I want to see how it looks on me," and just walk away. Like that would have been a little nice, more stinge
Hmm.
towards Gunther. Like, damn, I got Sami, and then I got this dude trying to come for my title. Damn, bro. I'm like, yeah, man, you are the face of Monday Night Raw. You should be getting attacked from everyone.
Mhm.
I'm glad you said that too, because like you said that, and then I look back at the scene and like how it played out, and I'm kind of thinking that was what he was implying right there. It's just like, oh yeah, I just wanted to see it. I just wanted to see it. It's just like, oh, you wanted to see it,
Oh, so he's
so
gonna
you could
envision,
picture.
yeah, like he was trying to picture when he stood
Hmm.
in front of him. He's like,
Yeah,
looks good on me.
like see,
So my
see, I'm
guess
glad
we
I'm glad
might
you
also
mentioned that.
see Braun Breaker versus his stooge, versus Gunter stooge, I'm drawing blank on his
Oh,
name.
Kaiser.
Kaiser. So that's
Yeah.
my guess. Braun
Probably.
Breaker
Yeah.
versus Kaiser. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe perhaps next week might happen.
Also
So
known as "It Should Have Been Me,"
Um.
but you know.
yeah. Other than that,
Sorry.
I have no more comments about Braun Breaker himself. With Gunther
Okay.
and the J stuff. Other than that, Yeet, my boy, started the Monday Night Raw show after Wade Barrett and Joe introduced the show, gave their type of highlights of what the show would be tonight. And Jay
Hmm.
Uso entered the ring first time as a singles champion and enjoyed this moment with his son as well. So that's a beautiful highlight. And motherfucking Jay has blue fucking plates on his belt. And yo,
Yeah,
guys, I
it
gotta tell you
looks
this.
nice.
I gotta tell you this. This belt looks 10 times better. I'm not even joking.
Oh
10 times
God,
better than how
yes.
it looked previous last week, the black and
It
gold.
looks so
I'm
good.
sorry.
Yeah.
That the white and blue and gold has always looked the best. Right now, the black, gold, and the blue in it
Yeah.
with Jay's
Thank
color.
you, Cody.
Oh my god.
Hmm.
It look amazing. Jay knows a rocket. He got the pyro money. Like that entrance of the
Oh
pyro
yeah.
money was great. From congrats for him. This must be a beautiful moment. I bet you Jimmy and his actual brothers that are not on screen are actually truly happy for him. And we never got to hear. I don't think the bloodline ever mentioned their moms. They always mention their dads, their uncles, and everyone else.
Oh yeah.
And they're like,
Oh,
who's the one in charge? I think the only one that mentioned their mom is The Rock. I
might have.
think,
Yeah, I was gonna say might have been The
yeah,
Rock
The Rock that mentioned
because
his
she
mom
was.
at the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
So
she got inducted. That's right.
yeah, inducted. So I'm like, that's the only one I remember of the bloodline that ever mentioned the mom, except tonight. Jay also mentioned like, yo, thank you, mom.
Yeah. Oh.
Mhm.
Oh no, Vash was coughing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all handle this beginning part because I was having a bit of technical issues until Braun came out. So yeah, y'all
Other than
y'all
no,
go ahead. But I did see the belt though, because like the belt with the
oh,
blue looks.
the belt
Oh yeah.
itself is what was really highlight, and Jay just
Mhm.
enjoying that moment with his son coming out of the ring. I mean, out of the arena with the crowd, and just the crowd. honestly enjoyed that concert. Like the whole concert was like a good 5 minutes of everyone just yeeting, yeeting, and
Oh, yeah.
yeeting and yeeting everywhere else in that damn fucking
Yeah,
concert.
eating.
Uh,
I hope the janitors have fun with that, all that yeeting going on.
yeah, it
Yeah.
just probably just got yeeted everywhere. On top of the floor, bottom,
Eh,
left, right, on the Hell in a Cell. They brought a fucking Hell in a Cell cage just for the fucking presentation. That's fucking insane.
I couldn't
Sorry,
believe that.
sorry
But
guys, it
yeah,
just
no,
threw me.
we'll get to
I
that. We'll get to
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
I
yeah.
loved it though.
Um,
Mm.
other than that, Drop, you got any comments towards Jay entrance in his promo by his mom and him saying thank you?
So I'll probably drop this for you. So when it comes to like the whole entrance itself, I really liked it. I thought it was really good.
Mm.
I liked the presentation of the title. I mean, it almost made me think when Cody changed the IC title a couple years ago when it was like that nice white color and everything really stood out. Absolutely loved it. But also the aesthetic fits Jay. But I'm
Mhm.
just really interested. I think what I'm mainly interested because JD brought this up in his review last week for Raw. But shout out to him. I know Vash recently came across him on the House of Glory show. But one of the things that he did mention that I do agree with, which is what I was asking the most, is like, okay, you got that big moment for Jay, you got the payoff because obviously you had to stick the landing. Eventually, you had to tell the story. The story was completed. He was able to finally capture singles gold. And my biggest question, just like he mentioned as well, is what's next? Like, what are we going to
Mhm.
be building into when it comes to Jay's reign? Because at first I was thinking, oh, okay, we might be doing something with Braun. Doesn't really seem like that's the case anymore because Braun has his eyes on something else.
Yeah.
So my biggest question is like, okay, what are we doing with Jay? And this does lead into our next match because we know that we have
Yeah.
him and Xavier Woods next week. But again,
Yeah,
that's
because I
just
mean,
Jay
I
saying that's just
mhm.
Jay saying like, oh yeah, I was gonna give the shot to Kofi. No, Kofi's like, no, I'll give it to Xavier. But beyond that, like, what's the bigger picture we're getting here? Like, what's the end goal? What are we gonna get out of this? That's my biggest question because I'm not really counting the Xavier stuff because I don't really think it's gonna lead to anything. It's just going to
Yeah,
build
that's a whole
him and
different
Kofi's
story.
story. So, but
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
what's gonna go on with Jay? Because at first I was thinking with Bronson, but now we're leading into Seth and Bronson, so you're gonna have to delay that for a little bit. But yeah,
You know,
I don't really know what's going on with Jay.
hear me out on this one,
The
because
Miz.
here's the thing, right? I mean, it
Eh,
is, but
no,
he'll have to be built up again as a heel. But now I want y'all to hear me out on
no.
this one because, but
Well, when it comes
but
to
anyway,
Miz, no, I don't need that right now.
oh well, yeah, Miz, yeah,
Okay, what's your hot take?
Yep.
but at least
Well,
not
just
yet. But anyways.
yeah.
So right now, currently, like out of the members of the Bloodline, yes, we have tag team champions for now in the Tongas and all that.
Yeah.
But the only singles champion right now seems to be Jey Uso.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going in like hierarchies, maybe he should be a tribal chief. And we do have to kind of get to a certain War Games match.
Yeah.
I
Hopefully
want y'all to
that
hear
comes in
me out. What if we
effect.
do a little bit of a cross brand here, and we have somehow, some way, Solo gets that title. However, see, okay, hold on. Now my brain's cooking a little bit. Hold on, because we already saw this already. We saw this already with Jacob Fatu having to give up the tag titles,
Yeah.
having Jacob take out Jay in a match, and it's just like, my tribal chief, here is your IC title. You are now the tribal chief.
I love you,
Like
Solo.
shit like that. Like,
Oh.
because that could be something too. But again, that's fantasy booking and all that
Yeah.
with that aspect.
I mean,
I mean
I
that
definitely-
could
That
be a
would
way.
go
definitely-
along with story, like that will go with the character
Mhm.
of what Jacob Fatu has
Yeah.
been doing and what Solo has been making him become the enforcer. Jacob Fatu loves his tribal chiefs, so by
Yeah.
face value, by the fantasy booking, it speaks value. So
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I
Yeah.
I just like I feel like if we were to go down that direction, we got to have Jay start building to that first. Like he has to start mentioning
Exactly.
his family and stuff like that. Maybe like allude to it a little bit, saying, I got. Well, actually, he kind of did today, but
Yeah, I was just gonna say he kind of did. Yeah.
but it's like it has to like have some more build up with that, and I feel like
Mhm.
it could just be one of those things, and it makes sense given how they are already on a warpath as it is when it comes to all of the destruction that they're having on SmackDown. So even though it is a little repetitive because we've seen it with Jimmy before, which I would understand why people would be like, yeah, why are we doing that?
Yeah.
As long as it makes sense, they could definitely cost him the title, or maybe because Solo isn't a champion himself, he doesn't want to see his brother with a title, so maybe he necessarily doesn't want to have the title itself. It could be one of those things where it's like, if I'm not the one with the title, nobody else has the title, sort of thing. So if he
Mhm.
sees Jimmy getting all of this success, or whatever it alludes to, that I could definitely see it being one of those things where it heads down that direction, because we are at a point where we have to figure out exactly how are we going to be getting to that war game match, and we
Exactly.
only have like a month and a half to build to that, and there's a lot of layers with that. It comes with Roman building that relationship with Jay again. You can't just shake
Mhm.
hands and be like, okay, we're on the same track again, because Roman like completely like messed up Jay and put him through a lot of shit. So it's not like they're gonna
Yeah.
be hugging and everything's gonna be fine. So if they were to build to that after the Xavier thing or whatever, then it would definitely have to happen like within this month. Not like, okay, we're gonna do it at the beginning of November. Like, no, you need to properly build this, because if you want to
Mhm.
tell a good story, there has to be layers to that story. But at the same time,
Yeah.
it's almost like we don't it's almost, there's like a part of me where it's like I'm hoping we get it, but then there's another part of me telling maybe they're trying to do something else, which then I'm questioning myself, how do we get there, considering a
Mhm.
lot of the drama going on SmackDown. I can't really see these other guys aligning themselves with Roman, if you get what I'm alluding to.
Yeah.
So it's like
Exactly.
they need to figure out what they're doing. I mean, that's the biggest roadblock
I
I
feel
have
like
right now. I don't really know what Jay's going to do
I feel
when
like
it comes to
Mhm.
instead
feuds.
of us trying to guess the more and more week after week, I think it'll be easier to have that better idea after this weekend. Like once this bad
Well, it's
blood
just
Yeah.
based
We'll
on
have a.
the
and was this
speculation.
Friday, like it'll be
Yeah.
easier to speculate
Yeah,
once this weekend ends, so we can know what type of direction they're heading towards Crown Jewel
yeah.
and the Survivor
No, I
Series.
get that. It's just the
It's
part
just
of
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, of
speculation with
course.
what Jay's going on right now,
Oh
if
yeah, of
it's the
course, 100%.
topic of the IC title.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, we'll have a better picture this weekend. But like you were saying, Drop, we are gonna have to start building towards that. And again,
Hmm.
I think some of the seeds were planted tonight with like Jay talking about his family. Like he wasn't mentioning anybody. Well, he did mention Roman by name, but like
Yeah,
he didn't even mention Jimmy by name. He just said I was a
no,
twin. So it's
yeah,
just like because that's the other thing. Jimmy has to come back and all that. So we'll have to
yeah. It's
see
a lot
with
of
all that.
factors.
Exactly.
But
But
all
like
congrats to Jay. You are
yeah,
yeeted. You're one. Can't wait to see your first title defense continue on.
yeah. So and going on to that title defense, his first defense is going to be against Xavier Woods, who of the New Day, who are never ever going to be breaking up, unless you guys want to see me on the show again. You know,
You sure?
I swear,
Because
I swear,
our
I
our
swear.
QB Xavier is having some issues as a leader.
Nah, he's got it. He's got it. He just beat Rey Mysterio tonight. He's got
By the way,
this.
how do you
He's
guys feel
got
about
this.
that? Because it threw me off,
I loved it.
and not in a
I
bad way.
loved it.
It threw me off where I didn't expect it, and I wonder if that was planned or if that was something that's accidental, and they
That
play off
that
very well.
see that's the thing, that's one of the things that they liked doing back in the day, when it came
Hmm.
to certain spots that they were doing in the match. They wanted to have it split between reality and fiction, where it's like you're thinking in your head, is it real or did they plan it?
Yeah.
That's the whole fun about it, because even
That's
that
that
popped
good
up in my
shit.
head, because for all we know, that could have been called for an audible, and maybe they wanted to go down that direction, or that could have been part of the story. That's the whole magic about wrestling, is that
Hmm.
it keeps you guessing.
Which I love because the match between Xavier Woods and Rey Mysterio was so far great. Like I have no
Yeah, it was
complaints about the
fun.
match. It was solid, entertaining. It could have gone longer, but
Mm.
the botch or not, or the word that I just forgot that Drop just mentioned on the audible that could have happened did happen. If it wasn't, all right, cool. It worked beautifully. Like, Ray also was fast enough to catch himself to not be caught, and the whole pull over, dirty, was fucking amazing. I said pull over.
Yeah.
The road up
And
was
that's
fucking amazing.
that's why I'm thinking that it was part of the story, because it's like,
I think
if it wasn't, then I don't think he would be fast enough to really cover his face like that. But there was a bit of a botch when they were like getting into it, I think, because like, what was it? I think like Xavier tried, or like maybe Mysterio was trying to catch Xavier, but I guess they had like there's like some off balance there, getting into it. But no, I thought this was brilliant, especially like after the match when like Ray's all pissed off, but Xavier's just like it was an accident. I didn't do it on purpose. But like, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like in the storyline of it, and like in that magical word known as kayfabe and all that, because ooh, that's a mystical word. Which, if you guys want to tune in, I think on Wednesday, we'll talk about that little docu-series.
Yeah,
But like,
the stream should be public by tomorrow morning or the next few
thumbnails all
hours.
Perfect.
Thumbnails all set.
Yeah.
Guys.
Excellent. But like in the kayfabe sense, it's like, okay, did Xavier plan that? Because it's like you see his like his hands and all that like go up to Ray's head and like claw and grasp. So it's like, okay, did he claw and grasp, feel the mask, and was just like, I'ma do this? Or was it truly an accident? We don't know as the audience, because like, we don't know where the story's going and how they like planned it and all that. But like, again, like the kayfabe sense, it's like, okay, did he do that on purpose just so he could win the match? Like, what's going on? Is Xavier actually gonna be a baddie McBad? Oh my gosh!
I love how he
So-
just kept walking out of the ring. He just said, "Yo, it was by accident," and he just kept looking at the crowd like, "Yo, it was by accident, guys. I didn't plan it. I'm sorry. I won the match. I won the L."
Yeah,
And
I like it.
And I love how when he got to the back, he spoke to Kofi Kingston, and I love how Xavier is the type of friend that'll be like, "Yo, instead of congratulating, why do I feel like you're telling me I did something wrong?" He's like, "Yeah, no, it's like, no, man, congrats, but it's just that, like, how do you feel after winning that way against against a Legend Ray, like you and like Xavier's reaction, like, you're coming at me telling me this news, but then you're just not very supportive." So I understand how this dynamic hurts, because any type of relationship is like this, any type of friendship, even if you don't got to be a wrestler, any type of friendships are like this. When your friend is not as supportive as you would like, and it feels more the opposite of what you expected, it hurts.
Yeah, don't worry, Xavier. I'm on your side.
Me too.
Forget
We're on your
Kofi right
side.
now. Forget Kofi right now. But
me too.
like, but I like how this leads into like the reveal that Xavier's gonna be facing off against Jey Uso next week for the IC title, and I like just how like in character all of this is, because like we know how much respect the Usos and the New Day have for each other, and so it just makes sense that Jay would be like, hey yo Us, because he said it like that. He's just like, yo Us, I'm gonna give you the shot, like to Kofi, being like, hey, you deserve it. We've been through a lot together, and I think it's been a while since you've gone for a title. Why not? Let's run it back a little bit. But
did anybody notice how Xavier said, "I could beat Jay"? Yeah, that's easy win. That's an easy dub.
oh yeah,
I'm like, yeah, okay, you're gonna lose next week with no problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. That overconfidence is gonna bite him in the ass.
Super overconfident.
yeah.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Xavier,
man.
but you were super overconfident. It's gonna bet you.
Oh yeah, nah,
super
he
badly.
was. But it was also kind of weird too, because like this kind of also foreshadowed Kofi losing later on in his match against Chad Gable.
Yeah, because Xavier
And-
said, "Yo, man, let's go 2 for 2. Let's go 2 for 2."
hmm Well, also the fact that he was just like, because Xavier was just like, hey, thanks for letting me go out there on my own doing it. And then like Kofi's just like, oh yeah, you can come with me. And it's just like, oh, okay, so Xavier's gonna do something to kind of be an accident, like what happened with Ray, and what did we get in the match was an accident. which led to Kofi losing. Which I mean, this match was good with Kofi and Chad. Like, don't get me wrong with that part. It's like they have some good chemistry with each other.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. How did you guys feel about like Xavier's little accident for this match that costed Kofi? Because
I think
yeah.
that was the highlight, honestly, because when it comes to certain matches like this that they do, a lot of them have to relate to the certain story that they're telling when it comes to the certain storyline that they're having. That's why you had this back and forth with Xavier and Ray earlier, and then you have Kofi and Chad Gable now, because it's basically adding more layers to the conflict between Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods right now, because that's just going to lead into next week, and then we're going to be getting a continuation leading up into that 10th anniversary of the New Day, which I'm expecting something tragic to happen just because of the kind of story that they're telling, and they like to capitalize on that when it comes to that sort of television. But we see right there, within the match, he was trying to help Kofi, even though he necessarily didn't need to, and then it ended up leading into Kofi not winning the match, which is something that I did see online. I didn't notice it at first, but I saw other people posting pictures and clips online that during one of the segments backstage, when somebody was doing an interview, I don't remember what it was, but somebody like zoomed in and you could see in the very back that Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston were arguing with one another. So,
it was the Gunther. It was the Gunther.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker part.
Yes,
Because
that's
I
what was
noticed
in the
that too.
background
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, and Triple H obviously does it for a reason, because he doesn't just
Mhm.
throw somebody in there just for a little Easter egg and not do anything with it. It's obviously going to build on to whatever we see next week, which could also probably play into the Jay and Xavier Woods match, which might end up being one of those things, or maybe Kofi's out there, or maybe Xavier tells Kofi to stay backstage or something, but then Kofi comes out anyway, tries to cheer him on, or do whatever, but then it ends up causing that tension, kind of like how we saw later on in the night between the both of them, and that's just going to build that relationship even more. Because I've seen a lot of people online saying that they're loving this story, which I am too, because
Same.
it's probably the most interesting thing that the New Day has been doing for quite some time, besides being in a match and losing and not doing anything with them. Like, you're actually telling a very interesting story between both of these characters, and it's actually helping both of them out.
Yeah.
So that's what I personally took from this, is that it's going to build into what we see next week, that's going to escalate things even further.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, like I have been digging the storytelling of it. It's just it's my precious New Day, man. It's my precious New Day. Like I don't want them to split. Like, yeah, have your fights, have your quarrels or whatever, but come back together, guys. Come on. Get the old trombone back out. Have fun. You guys are great. I love you both. Just don't don't. But I am digging the story though. Like it's something that you could really dig your teeth into, because like there's a lot of history, because like and I mean, drop, you could correct me if I'm wrong with this one too. It's just like they are the longest running faction, I want to say, in wrestling history, but like there's also
still
like the
going
Bullet
on,
Club, but
yes.
it's like yeah,
Oh.
yeah, that's still like present going on.
Yeah, the current one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only other one I can think of is the Bullet Club,
Yeah.
just, and I'm talking about like the broad wrestling spectrum,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Unless you count
Yeah.
DX, but they're not present no more.
I do
Yeah.
you can probably like fuse like the Click and DX, because that's pretty much what the Click was. It just got a
Yeah.
new name.
Yeah, exactly. They just added more friends to their circle.
They did.
But
But
yeah. But
Woods, Xavier, good luck to your friendship. on screen. Not talking about off screen, because you guys are
Yeah.
probably still best friends off screen. You guys still have up, down, down. Still have that content. I just watched
Yeah.
one of the content actually today. I actually posted it in the gaming hub, which is really adorable.
Oh yeah, I saw
Uh,
that.
AJ Styles was the most happiest little camper catching like limited edition type of thing. So it's pretty cool. But Xavier
Nice.
Woods, good luck for your match that you have next week with Jey Uso that you'll be losing. Like Drop brought up earlier, the fans, including us, were very happy with the storyline that the New Day is being involved with, that they're not just being the jobbers or helping other creators, other wrestlers get up. They're also having story that doesn't even include a title. They're trying to aim for a title to get back on the title scene, but also being talked about even with Chad Gable. So I really love that. The little segment with Chad Gable, it happened. The match, I didn't really. It just the match itself was good. Like I don't have too much negative pros or cons about the match overall. It just happened. It was a good match. It was nice to see the Creed brothers and everything. Hopefully the Creed brothers could put in some tag team matches, since we haven't seen them do some tag team matches consistently in a bit, other than the one from last week. So I'd love to see that, because the Creed brothers deserve to have their tag titles around them. Take them off of the Judgment Day, because we're gonna talk shit about them soon.
Yeah. And I guess really quick before we move on to our next thing, I'm just glad that and commentary kind of said this too, like Chad Gable's done with the Wyatt stuff, so like now he can start racking up wins, which good. Move on, start building yourself and your faction up to the heights that we know you can get. But Drop, I am glad you brought up somebody like the Click and how like they kept expanding and getting new friends, because hey, getting new friends is always great, and having old friends come back to help you out in bind is also really great, unless you're pretty freaking cringe. Because we had Lyra Valkyria going up against PFC's own Zoey Stark. The match was fine.
No, I'm gonna just be honest. The most useless match of the night. The match that if you literally yank this match out of the
heel turn with Vash, I've been waiting. The Vash's heel turn is like is going to be like one of those biggest moments within Weebs of the Ring history. With like Hogan turning heel. This is Hogan turning heel right now.
I love it that I love it that Watkins gave a little Neil Patrick Harris a little line of legendary from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh yeah, it'll be legendary.
But
which is funny because I've never really watched the show. But
you have that, you should. I recommend it. It's fun. Neil Patrick Harris.
I've seen some episodes.
Did carry the show, but like
I did
Watkins
hear
said,
about the ending. So
yeah, the ending, I don't talk about it. But legendary, like Watkins brought up, like Drop said. Look, it's not, I'm just getting tired of it. Like, look, Lyra Valkyria is amazing. She is. Zoey Stark could be amazing, but she's not right now. And why the fuck did Sonya Deville come to scare Lyra Valkyria with Shayna Baszler, and the whole time that Shayna Baszler is just shaking a deck of cards? And I'm like, yo, writer's room. I get it. She's called the Queen of Shades. I get it. She has her own Twitch channel that's called the Queen of Shades or Queen Blazers, something like that. I get it. Pun intended. But what the fuck was she just doing there as a bodyguard, and then put herself in the middle between them, and then Sonya moving her to the side? And I'm like, what kind of writing is this? I feel like they're trying to throw darts to the wall, and this is what they came up with at 8 p.m. EST. It's like, this is the best I could come up with. Have Sonya Deville and Shayna literally come try to, like, I feel like it was two kids in a high school locker room trying to scare the other girl that's also tough, but does not give a fuck about both of you.
Look, I'm gonna call a spade here, because you're right with the Sonya part. You're right with the Sonya part. I agree with you on the Sonya part, because she's whatever. But nah, Shayna rolling up with like the cards. Nah, that was badass. That was just it's a shame if you just didn't make it to the ring. Like it kind of gave off like that vibe, like that old school like 80s bully kind of thing. Like
oh yes, I
shouldn't
agree.
have come to school today.
Maybe what turned me off, it was just having Sonya there, or maybe if it was somebody else that knew how to do a promo better, that make it feel more evil or more dominant. Like, hey, we run the woman division. No, you don't. That's fucking Liv and Rhea. They run the woman division. Y'all haven't done shit. And
Yeah.
maybe attack higher people, then maybe we could talk business. But
Yeah.
it's just that just throws me off. Of like, yeah, I didn't even feel scary for Lyra. And one, Watkins, you and me got issues about how you calling our boring party team coming in for the rescue. Do not talk shit about them.
Look, if you're allowed to go heel, I'm allowed to go heel. They are boring. They're party girls, they're
I can't wait to
boring.
tear this
I
segment apart.
like they are boring.
I want them to turn heel though.
but
I want Kaden
I want them to
Katana
be interesting.
I want them to turn heel because I feel like they was getting feisty with the unholy witches, and I love that because
Yeah.
it was an interesting segment. Like, okay, cool, are you guys gonna
Yeah.
fight? But they didn't fight, and I'm like, Lyra, why are you holding them back? Actually fight, throw each other to the crates, like make it feel interesting. The promo shit's not working for ya. Y'all need to throw some hands. It needs to be some type of excitement because right now you're not holding the casual audience. And the guy that's usually optimistic, you're not even holding me as an audience while I'm doing my own notes.
Yeah.
Magic. Like, I don't know, man. It's just like it's the same
fucking
thing we've been saying
disappointing.
every week. It's just not hitting, you know. And if anything, I feel bad for Lyra because she's lumped in all of this, and she's a lot better than this.
I feel
I
bad,
feel
for
bad for
Kaden
Shayna.
and Katana as well. I should add.
I feel bad for Shayna
This is
because of the same reasons for Lyra, and I kind of feel bad for Zoe Stark because like I feel like she's the one that like needs like something like this the most,
Yeah.
but
But
it's
she's falling short
not-
because during her whole match,
Yeah.
I feel like she was botching some spots.
well, like yeah, well, I mean, she was like really fired up, like she was like ready to go, and plus like her and Lyra were like in the screaming section tonight for some reason, like they were just like screaming at every moment that they could.
Well, like to take a
Yeah.
line from Liv, maybe girl's a screamer. You never know.
Yeah, that could be it, but I think Drop is ready to kind of dissect and
Yeah.
tell us how much he loves this segment because every week he
Yeah.
just can't stop loving
How
this
do you
moment
love
whenever
the pure fusion
whenever
collective?
PFC is on the air.
PFC.
No, I'm gonna say is this is gonna be legendary in the future. Like once we end up getting clipped on the show and people end up quote tweeting me when it comes to the kind of stuff that we say on here. But my biggest issue with this is that this whole pure fusion collective thing. Like if I'm just being a person who's just critiquing it at this point, not having any bias or whatever, it's not doing anything. It's not benefiting Zoey Stark. It's not benefiting Shayna Baszler, and it's not benefiting Sonya Deville. Because when you're trying to build yourself as a dominant faction, you need to look dominant. You need to take out big names, and you need to keep climbing up the chain so you can eventually get that tag team title shot or get that world title shot. Like if this was a serious faction, you would have somebody like Shayna up in Liv's face, something along the lines of that. If you really want to make something out of this group, you would have done something like that a long time ago. But I'm at the point where we just need to scrap this, which I'm hoping
How
that
do you say you
they're
run the
not
fucking division, but you go after mid-card fucking wrestlers? Why not even going for the fucking top
Alright.
people?
But it's like it's at the point where I feel like they shouldn't feel afraid to stop something, because if it's not working, just stop. Like don't be the old regime and just keep on going and milking it over and over and over again just because you want it to get over. Like just stop. It's not working. Nobody cares about it. It sounds like crickets every time they're out there. Nobody cares. And yes, Zoey is suffering the most because even one of my friends at work told me that when he went to one of the Raw shows earlier this year in our area, and Zoey Stark came out for her Queen of the Ring tournament qualification match when it was the match before she had with Lyra. It was the one that was allowed her to progress through the tournament. She was out there looking at the crowd, and it was crickets. And this has been an ongoing thing with Zoey for such a long time. They put her with Trish because they thought Trish was going to help her out. It was leading somewhere, but then it fell. And then you had her going with Becky. And then Becky ended up calling out for one of the things that Zoey definitely struggles with, charisma. And you know Becky's very upfront when she's feuding with people. Sometimes she shoots. I'm starting to think. And it's not benefiting Zoey because Zoey, when I first saw it come up, like, oh shit, you know, Zoey's going to be going to places. But the more I see Zoey, she keeps going down more and more and more and more. And that's not me hating her. It's just the fact that that's how casuals are going to see her. That's how people are going to see her. If you're talking all this shit week after week, not making an impact, nobody's going to give a fuck about you. I mean, Shayna Baszler, dear God, she probably should have had at least 2 to 3 title reigns under her belt when it comes to being a world champion on the main roster, but she hasn't even won a world title yet. The only title she's really won is she had like the NXT, when it comes to main titles, she's only been like an NXT Women's Champion. That's not somebody that I look at and expect to be somebody that doesn't have at least one world championship under her belt. Like when it comes to making first impressions and stuff like that, that's a very big thing to capitalize on. And a perfect example of that is Liv, because you saw how people perceived Liv before, but then we saw this version of Liv that came out this year, and that just propelled her to new levels that Liv can now be recognized as a main eventer. Where if you want to put her in a program, all right, we can rely on Liv because, like, say hypothetically somebody's out for injury or they can't really fit in the schedule. Okay, I can count on Liv because she has that star power. People care to see her on screen. These girls have potential. They're not being utilized properly. I would rather them see. I would honestly, the most compelling story you can really get out of PFC right now is for them to bicker back and forth with one another and tear each other apart. The whole drama of that faction breaking apart would be a more compelling story of what they're doing right now. And it really sucks to see Lyra Valkyria in this predicament because she has a lot of potential, and I can definitely see her going places. I mean, Becky obviously put her over for a reason because, not saying that she's going to be the next Becky or anything, because you're the next Lyra Valkyria, you're the next you. But that's pretty much WWE saying, okay, when Becky goes, you're going to have Lyra Valkyria. She's going to be one of the top stars in that women's division. She doesn't deserve to be put into a PFC feud that nobody cares for because she has a lot more to offer. And same thing with the Party Girls. Yeah, people have mixed opinions on them, but they actually have a lot of potential as a tag team. They can actually do a lot of things. But putting them into this, it's not benefiting them. Same thing with Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Just, you got to... They have a lot of talented women on their roster that's not being showcased properly. And I feel like they really need to sit down in a meeting one day and actually figure out what they're going to do. Like, they need to figure out how they're going to utilize these stars, because they wouldn't have to rely on Rhea and Liv so much if they had other people that they could go to if they wanted to build programs with them. It's honestly hurting all of them. And it sucks to say that, but it is. Because I hate to see them in this light because I know what they're capable of. And I would love there to be a very compelling story that takes them from where they are now and to help them rise to the top to actually make them matter. Because after a while, just like the Giovanni Vinci thing, you know, it's just going to keep sinking all the way to the bottom of the ocean, and it's not going to come up. You're just going to be stuck down at sea level and never rise up to the top where you could actually put your head above the water and actually see the sky again. It just keeps getting buried. Not necessarily buried. It's come to a point where fans don't care. And it sucks because
Triple H just needs to put the apron on and go down to the kitchen known as NXT and just be the chore boy for Shawn Michaels for a bit when it comes to doing your women's division. Because NXT women's division, like, I know I don't really consume NXT on a regular basis, but like I still hear a lot of stuff about the women's division. Like they are cooking on so many
bringing in a lot of names too. So so it's good that Shawn has
stacking up the mid-card title with the tag titles and the main title card. So it's going to be interesting of what they're going to be building up with. So, like, I really hope the best for Zoey Stark and these ladies, PFC. As much as we joke around, we're speaking from a critical aspect as critics as we are for
Yeah.
a review portion of the show, but also as fans. So anybody as the company WWE, if they ever do watch this episode or
Yeah.
any of our other previous episodes, understand
Yeah.
to the fans as well. We don't shit talk or talk down on purpose. We
Yeah,
just talk as a
exactly.
fan of what we hope to see. And right
Yeah.
now, we believe this product is not as good as it could be, or the heights is where it could go to. And we want Sonya Deville. We have seen the great aspects of her right before she left of her surgery and everything, and girl had a great time as a general manager for SmackDown. She had a great time as a heel, or I think as a face back then. So she has the potential. All these type of superstars has the potential. Just don't force a group of PFC.
Yeah, if it's not working,
If
then
it's
just
not
cut the
working,
cord.
just time to change it
Yeah.
up, or
Yeah.
have them go after Rhea, or have them join the Judgment Day, have them do little twists, change things up. Don't have the shenanigans of the Judgment Day continue to be the same shit week after week for the past 2 months, and you're not adding any flavor like you are when it comes to the Carmelo and Andre. That is changing
Yeah.
up week to week, and you add LA Knight on the sixth one. That's different. So when it comes to the
Yeah.
Judgment Day in the PFC, continue being rinse and repeat, just the same storyline, just not even change up, no type of new seasoning week to week. It gets boring after a while. So in the PFC,
It does.
I'm gonna move on.
Yes, me
And
too.
and just to kind of put a pin in it really quick, it's just like, because another complaint I know people have, and especially we have had too, it's just like, with the whole women's tag division and all that, it's just like the final pin in all this is just like, I appreciate you trying to make the tag division mean something, but we know you could do better. And that's where all of this is coming from. We know you could do better. You have the tools to do better. Just do better. That's all we want. That's all we want out of all this. So yeah, we'll just have to, I guess, wait and see. Again, just Triple H, just go be a chore boy down in NXT. Learn from Chef Michaels. Learn the good recipes that go into your women's division. Because one spicy meatball you have going on is this whole Drew McIntyre and CM Punk feud going on, and I'm glad this segment was as short as it was. Like, it wasn't too long and it wasn't too short. It was just how it needed to be. It just needed to be like, hey, just like what oh my god, I almost called him Nick Aldis. It's just like what Adam Pearce had said when he was introducing the segment. Like, I'm gonna give these guys just one last time to just get anything out before Saturday. No physicality, just get out any last words you had. And okay, there's a I could literally spend an hour dissecting just like some of the stuff that they had in this segment, just from
Sadly,
how
Watkins, we don't have an hour to break the segment down.
I know
Sadly, we don't have that. We'll have
but like
maybe a good
it's
30
just
minutes left for our show. So
it's just from like
Probably
from the
figuratively
way
speaking.
from the way like Punk and Drew were dressed across from each other, from just the words they were saying
the
towards
yin and
each other, like,
yang.
and
Oh, it was
yeah, man,
beautiful.
like
the not the metaphors on the word I'm looking for. The simile, their personification. Well, one of those words I'm trying to find the right term for, but it was beautiful. Also, for them to actually take the production value and actually bring the steel cage down from the arena into the actual ring
was a
was
nice
something
touch.
I didn't expect. I'm like, oh, okay, you guys actually want to build the steel cage ready, have it all prepped, and actually part of the promotion. And to add towards what Watkins was, I love how Joe was straight up saying that you see how Punk is touching the arena. He's understanding what he's gonna start taking in next week. The understanding the psychological aspect. I love how Joe was breaking down Punk coming into the arena and seeing the Hell in a Cell, seeing what they're about to prepare themselves into. So I love how Joe was just like really making this grand type of scheme aspect of the psychological aspect of what a wrestler goes through in a Hell in a Cell, because they're not wrong. Like, you're fighting between not a wall, not a barricade, not fans. You're fighting between a cell of chains literally spread around in a 4x4 ring, and you gotta fight your opponent. And when both of you guys are supposed to pretend to hate each other, it's like it's gonna be brutal. And I love what you said and brought up, Watkins. And I'm gonna repeat from here, from my notes. I'm wearing black, and this is Drew McIntyre. I'm wearing black out of
Yeah.
respect for your wife, because I'm gonna feel sorry for your wife. I'm also gonna be celebrating you, because effectively you'll be dead. Thanks to me, you taught me that the hate is a powerful weapon, but it's dangerous when it's used too long. If Ray
I
fell,
love
it,
that line.
it
I
felt
love that last line.
it felt like a Star Wars
Ooh.
line. It felt like a Star Wars line, like you speaking of about the dark side, the hatred, like the hatred consume you. For anybody that watches or have read the comics, Anakin has been consumed by the dark side, by the hatred, and he has become who he is, or is known to be, Darth Vader. So I really love that line that Drew did, and also knowing that, because I was questioning why Drew was dressed with a whole suit and tie, but then made sense because he was technically foreshadowing that he was dressed for a mourn,
Oh yeah.
for a funeral. So
For
he was
for a
mourning.
funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a funeral. So
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
already mourning for the character of CM Punk would be dead by next week Saturday. And I love how fucking CM Punk drew us white, all white shoes, white pants, and everything, really on the nose of the whole type of yin and yang. I really love that. Right before I continue, I'm gonna pass it on to Drop to let us also know your quick highlights of what you thought about this final words of the segment.
See, this is like the best thing that they could have done with the segment between Punk and McIntyre is the fact that they set the tone like, okay, you know, this is the final battle between us. This is where we're going to cross our line. This is where everything ends between us once and for all. And by having this segment within the Hell in a Cell, a lot of people are questioning, okay, why is this here? It's to add effect to the story
Yeah.
that they're telling. It's almost like CM Punk's over here and then Drew's over here. They're like on opposing battlegrounds where they're making that one last speech before they have that fight to the death, and whoever comes out on top is the victor. And I really like how it set the tone where you even had CM Punk come out and say when it came from his perspective. So Vash read from Drew's perspective. I'll read from Punk's, where Punk was like, I can't go home. I've been in a hotel for weeks because I don't want to subject my family to what I am now. Never forget that you prayed for this and that it happened. You won't be praying to God or the devil, but CM Punk. And I really liked that because it adds
I'm sorry. It's just that when
a
he said that
likely,
you prayed
and
for
this
this,
is
Mm-hmm.
and this is a CM Punk line. This is the CM Punk we know. This is the CM Punk that a lot of people want to see, because people know if Punk wants to tread certain waters, he will. If Punk wants to say certain things, he will. If Punk wants to send a message to a certain somebody, he will. And these past 2 weeks, I absolutely loved the presentation of CM Punk. I loved how he isn't coming out here. He's getting down. He's like, oh, what time is it? Clobbering time. Like, no, you're not seeing any of that. You're seeing a very serious CM Punk where he just wants to put the dagger in Drew and just move on for it forever. And I just liked how this just captured the whole entire atmosphere, because you could almost feel like you're there. Even though I was at home watching this on the couch, it almost made me feel like I was being pulled in, and I could feel the aura within this segment itself when it comes to the whole feeling of like, oh shit, you know, this is, well, we already know it's serious, but it's like, oh shit, you know, this is legit. Like, this is where we're gonna see these guys just tear each other apart. I mean, they keep bringing up blood. They keep saying how they want to destroy each other. I'm honestly expecting, and I could be crazy for even saying this, but I wouldn't be surprised, and Punk has been alluding to it so much on his social media. I would not be surprised if this is one of the most violent matches we have seen in recent memory when it comes to WWE, like perfectly setting the tone of what a Hell in a Cell match truly is. When you put two guys that hate each other with all of their heart into a cage where they're locked in and they can tear each other apart from limb to limb. Like, I'm honestly expecting this to be like a what the fuck moment. You don't normally hear me use f-bombs on the channel that much, but it's gonna be one of those what the fuck moments where it's gonna be like, wow, WWE's really doing this. And it's good that they head down that direction, because when you highlight that sort of character to a match like that, it's done for a reason, to make it feel special in that moment. Not happening like every single week where you got to keep bleeding every time just to get that shock value. Like when it happens within WWE, because it doesn't happen all the time unless it needs to, which they've been doing pretty frequent when it comes to, okay, it calls for it. But when it comes to this match in Pacific, I can see like both of them wielding Crimson Mask. Like I expect this to be probably one of the best matches of the year. I'm just gonna say it right
A
here.
lot of
I'm
people
not
Look,
are
I
already
keep
hyping it up as this being a match of the year. Like I even got invited to do a little hangout nearby, just a little watch party for Bad Blood. I'm like, okay, sure, I don't mind. And like that's the first time people that I know are watching wrestling actually invited. I'm like, oh, I guess they are aware that this will be a great pay-per-view for that, for that to be
because
the
they
case.
wouldn't be hyping it up and saying all this shit if it's not gonna be something. And Triple H, knowing how he is when it comes to certain matches, because this is a man that's been through a lot of crazy matches, and we've seen Triple H wear the Crimson Mask, and we've seen Triple H. I mean, God, look at that match he had with Taker inside of Hell in a Cell. When even him and Shawn couldn't take the man down. That
Exactly.
Oh
pinfall
my god, a
is
sledgehammer and everything
that
as well.
that
Oh,
close
that
call
false
pinfall.
finish.
That's
Oh.
considered one of the best false finishes of all time. So Triple H
Mhm.
knows how to create something so memorable, and I definitely
the way,
expect this to happen here.
I love the line when Punk ended the promo, the whole segment, and like, I will see you in hell, and just drops the mic. I was like,
Oh no, that's
yes.
not even the line. No, that is not. No, 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 no. We're gonna talk about lines. No, I've been staring daggers at this whole thing about like, but like this whole hate is a powerful weapon, but it's dangerous when used too long. Because like you see it in both men. You see it how
Yeah,
it's affected
yeah,
them, not only just in the past like 10 months, but even just tonight. Because it's like, especially with Punk, because we know Punk's history. We know how much hatred he's had and how like he's been able to like bring that out of other people. But like
yeah,
now Punk is at that point now where, because like even in AEW, like all the feuds he was having in there, he didn't say anything about like having to like not subjecting his own wife to how he was feeling. Like the whole stuff with
yeah.
MJF, he didn't mention anything about not going home at all and not like exposing his family to that. Like that's some powerful shit right there. Like, and I'm trying my hardest because again I could dissect every single part of this freaking thing and it's
Well,
so
I don't
good.
mind us
Because
putting more
like, but
attention
like
towards this. I would say this, that when it comes to the suit, it was well aligned. Like the whole suit, the moments of pausing, the story of the camera, the security guards playing like the border type of thing, and like having their way of eye contact was still in line sight. I love how they play everything well correctly. I wonder if they were ever shown behind the scenes years from now of how this feud was or how it was planned, because I would love to know the behind the scenes of how they have
Maybe.
coordinated everything, but most likely won't, because that will break the kayfabe into some aspect. But like Walken said, you could dissect each line, the way they spoke, the way CM Punk was just looking straight in the face. He was ready to just start fighting in this hell. Like, hey, this match is ready here. I I don't mind shooting the I don't mind shooting the fair right now. Drew, let's
Yeah.
go.
You know what? You know what? Fuck work right now. Fuck work right now. Okay, look. The best part of this whole damn promo right now, the best freaking part, it's just it was all about CM Punk's lines about how he turned that whole "I prayed for this and it happened." He turned that whole line right around on Drew, just being like, "Look, you said that, and yes, you remember that because when you're on the ground bleeding, on your hands and knees, crawling, begging, you're not going to be praying to God. You're not going to be praying to the devil. You're going to be praying to CM Punk." Oh, that is so freaking good. Like that's that good shit. Like that's why we complained so much about the women's stuff earlier tonight. That's why we complained so much about some other things that have been booked wise, like the Giovanni Vinci stuff. Because like we know how good you can be with things. And oh yeah, you could say, oh, slow burn, all that stuff. Like yes,
It
that's
depends on the
fine
writing
and
and it
dandy,
depends on
but
who's
it's like
doing the execution. And Drew and CM Punk have history of
yes.
knowing how to execute. No matter the writers,
Mm-hmm.
there's people that have had bad writers, and you can still have good execution,
Yeah.
and that's what matters. Having CM Punk say the line that Watkins love that you pray for this to happen. Guess what? My favorite thing in storytelling is when things come around full circle. When things come
Yeah.
around full
Mhm.
circle in any type of comedy, even when us in the anime podcast or Weebs of the Ring, we say something in the beginning of the show and then we bring it back up by the end of the show or during our overall ratings, that's the part of comedy. That's the part of storytelling. Knowing how to bring things back to full circle is my favorite type of stuff of storytelling and writing because you know how to keep the audience. The audience will notice. Audience, fans, they are more in tune of the product, even though the IWC
Mhm.
are crazy. But the fans that are in the arena, in the audience, knowing what's there, there are is what brings the seats to the table. And I love
Yeah.
how like CM Punk and Drew and Pierce held this 10-minute segment, well condensed and well concise.
Yeah. Oh man. It was good. This segment was good. It was really good. Really done well. Written, produced, did like ooh, the cinema line that we all like to use and all that. Like that's what this was. This was good. And again, it was exactly what it needed to be at this point in stage. Oh man, but from one thing that was at its
Peak.
perfect moment and perfect
Oh,
timing and all that.
oh yeah.
Here's probably some more complaining and from and maybe from me. I don't know. The boys might have some other things to say, but hey, we have some more Judgment Day shenanigans to happen. Not really too much to go off of. I mean, we have this tease like, oh, Finn's possibly not gonna be here. He had called Dom apparently and said, hey, traffic gonna be late, but hey, the thing we were planning on is happening. Um, I'm wondering because okay, thought process with this because of like rumors and especially what WWE posted not too long ago on their social media. I wonder if the thing that he was talking about with Liv and the thing
Yeah.
that they were trying to get um in contact with or get prepared. Wonder if that's getting Raquel Rodriguez involved. I
Yes.
wonder
I
if
think
that's
that.
what Finn was talking
I
about.
think that's what it is because
So go ahead, drop.
okay, I think that's what it is because you got to
Mhm.
factor into this, and this is why I am still on board with the whole like Judgment Day shenanigans when it comes to certain things, because for the matches for the most part, or like when it comes to them against LWO, I don't really give a shit to be perfectly honest. Nothing against them, I just don't care. But like the stuff in between when it comes to what they're doing, I can get into because you got to look
Mhm.
at it like this. So we have this whole thing being played out where Rhea Ripley came up with a strategy where she wants to have an even match with Liv Morgan. And one of those things that she could do is to lock Dominic in a shark cage, which she is doing. because in her head she's believing, okay, you know, we got the problem out of the way. He's going to be hanging from above. So now it's just going to be me and Liv. And I could have an easier chance of actually having an actual match with her. And Finn's going to be busy later with Damien. He might be banged up to really come out and help me. And we don't really know what's going to be going on with Funko Pop and Carlito. So you got to factor in this, like, okay, they obviously know that Dominic is going to be in the shark cage, but you'd be stupid not to have like a plan in your head where it's like, yeah, Dom's up there, but we have a backup thing, you know, something that Rhea wasn't thinking of. And the whole thing of Raquel Rodriguez makes sense because they recently did a playlist, and they recently did a playlist showing the whole story when it comes to Liv and Rhea so far. And they showed something in here. It's called Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan Road to Bad Blood 2024. And it says Ripley injures Morgan's teammate Raquel Rodriguez, which happened on July 17th, 2023. And if people that have been watching NXT when it came to Black and Gold, or, you know, just if you guys are familiar with Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez's history, they've never really seen eye to eye with one another. They've always had a problem with each other. Even when Rhea was a heel and she was going up against Raquel Rodriguez, you still had that tension there between the both of them. And Rhea and Liv and Raquel have history because they were once champions with one another, and they just always been super close. So you could throw this in there where it's like, okay, Raquel's coming back to get her revenge. We got to think of a wild card to see, like, okay, how chaotic is this match going to get, which is one of the things I alluded to earlier when it comes to big moments happening this weekend, because Raquel Rodriguez coming back would do wonders for her, not only to add more to this story, because I'll admit at first I thought the story was going to conclude with Rhea and Liv at this pay-per-view, but at the end of the day, based on how they're building things, I think it's going to extend longer, because when Rhea wins the title, the story's over, and they're obviously not ready to tell the conclusion of the story. But with Raquel coming back, now you have that wild card throwing in there, and like I said, this also benefits, not now adding on to it, this also helps Raquel actually get a character change where it's not just a gimmick where she came out and was showing her back muscles. Like, you can actually turn her heel, which works out a lot better for her anyway, because, you know, she just has that look of somebody who just wants to beat people up and just to be this dominant force. And I feel like it would probably help her get over, and people would actually care whenever she comes out. So this is like what I see being playing out with this is, you know, you'd have the whole match, then she comes out, and then you can continue that story between the both of them. So now and this also plays on to the whole War Games thing and everything like that. So this is honestly something I can get into.
Yeah, same here. And I like too, because like we find out that apparently Dom is claustrophobic.
Yeah.
So I like that, how that kind of ties in with the whole shark cage idea, because it's like, oh, this wasn't just some like random, hey, we have a new toy set coming out.
Heights too.
Yeah, oh, that too, because I think that's why he didn't do it. Why they didn't have him do that in the custody match, like what, almost 10 years ago.
I believe they there was a report that he was supposed to be in a cage or something like that, but they opted out for him to do that, which makes sense, knowing now that he's claustrophobic and also afraid of heights. Makes sense why they opted out of that 10+ years ago.
He's willing to bite the bullet now.
Also, as much as we joke around, do we still add that type of tenure to his time as a wrestler? Like, do we still add that type of tenure, like a 10-year experience?
Maybe as a character, but not like a
wrestler. All right.
Yeah.
Copy.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, his real dad, Eddie, you know, rest in peace. So.
By the way, did I see the car and the toilet paper online already being sold?
I need to get that
Yeah.
toilet paper. I'm not gonna lie. I need
$12
to wipe my ass
is
with
what Joe said.
Yeah.
$12 being bought
Fine.
online for having Dominic Mysterio
Yeah.
face
Yeah.
on a toilet paper where we could
Yeah,
wipe his
WWE shop. If you're watching right now, Vash really wants that just to have as a background piece.
ass. If you
he
guys
really wants he really
wanna
wants Dirty Dom
if
on
you
his
guys want to
butt.
send it to us, yes, I will accept a sponsor / gift from the WWE shop. No problem.
Oh yeah.
Just know I will probably not flush any of those. I will have them in a frame, so that way I can
Yeah.
bask in just the poop on Dirty Dom.
Or save it on
But-
emergency days. But
That too. I you know what's funny though? Like, there's so much to kind of just like bite into with the whole Liv Rhea thing. What about the Priest Finn build?
See, that's
How's
the
that
thing that's
been?
been. See, that's the thing that hasn't been really doing much for me because
so
I was
Same here.
expecting there to actually be more things thrown in there, which I'm honestly expecting it to
Sorry,
extend
folks.
beyond Bad Blood because it just doesn't feel like everything's going to be wrapping up in this PLE. Like they obviously want to
No.
add more things to it. But that's the sort of thing I was kind of hoping for. Like I was wanting to see, I wanted to see more promo time between the both of them. I didn't always wanted to see
Yeah.
Finn run away. I didn't always want to see them attacking each other. I wanted to get, like a vignette that we got with Damien Priest not that long ago, talking about his brother's keeper and all that. I wanted to see more segments like that. Like even if they weren't in the ring, I would love to see more vignettes. Like yes, we got in vignettes, but I wanted to see just more depth to the story. Like we know the story, but I want to see more depth to the story leading into the match because it only does so much for me when you like are in the ring and then you're attacking each other and stuff like that. Like we've seen it so much, we're so used to it. We want to see something new and refreshing that actually catches our interest differently than what you shown us before. Because if you showed us any of that sort of things, then okay, I would get more invested. I would actually care a little bit more. I'm not saying that I don't care, but it's I personally expected like so much more. I mean, you could easily build like when they first joined, like when when they joined Judgment Day and all the different kinds of journeys that they went on. There could have been like so much more thrown in there.
Yeah. Well, like that's the thing. It's like we got the one promo time with Finn being like, "All right, you know what? I'm gonna tell you everything, Damien." And it's just like he didn't really tell him everything. It
Yeah.
felt like he was still kind of holding a lot back. But like even then, like, and we got a little bit of it tonight too. Like every single time they get on the mic anymore, it's just the same stuff that they keep saying. It's like, "Oh, I'm the most dominant woman on Raw." You know, the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. And then with Finn, it's just like, Damien Priest, he needed us more than we needed him. Like, it's been that almost every single week, it feels like. And then, like, when you do the beatdown segments, like, yeah, Damien looked stronger, but you still had him lose at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like, he's been in the same position week in, week out. I think maybe, like, there was one other week where he wasn't, like, laying down almost in the same position. Like, it's
Yeah.
literally almost like they copy-pasted Damien Priest onto the canvas. And it's just like, yeah, I would have loved more segments like the whole Brothers Keeper thing. Like, that would have been great. But, like, we didn't. And so that's why, like, I'm kind of in the same boat where it's just like, I feel like we're going to keep going with this. Like, there might be just a little bit more to kind of go on, you know?
Yep.
But Vash, what did you think of all this? I know we haven't even touched on the LWO match, but kind of like what Drop said, I didn't really care for it, which
not
sucked
to
because,
sound
like,
rude or not to even sound like I don't care. I don't got not much comments. I'd rather just move on to the next topic. Not saying, look, chat.
Exactly.
That's not even Vash on a heel turn tonight for the show. It's just that.
Nah, that's heel turn.
If you want me to hear about Finn and Damien, go to last week Monday Night Raw. Go to the previous week Monday Night Raw. Go to the past couple weeks Monday Night Raw. Or go check during the SummerSlam. Or go
we
check
could copy and paste.
Or go during the Bash of Berlin. Go check those out. I already have said my thoughts and quotes. I don't need you to tell you about the same shit that LWO did something. Congrats that they had a tag match. Congrats that they got TV time. I'm happy for them. but
then
they,
they
they
lost.
they didn't get a W though. They continue losing. They're like, it sucks that the LWO, as somebody who is Latino here, who is this LWO
Wants to join it.
is meant for representation. No, I do not want to join this one. This faction, no. I'd rather join the LWO when it was with Eddie Guerrero. I'd rather
I
join
mean, I'll
that
be
one.
honest, Legado del Fantasma is actually doing a lot better than them.
It is, and
Yeah, they are.
and that's the thing
Yeah,
that
they
sucks
are.
because Rey Mysterio last year brought the LWO back because to bring representation and to bring a not highlight, to bring a memoir for Eddie, because LWO was founded by him and everything back then. So this was a beautiful thing to do, which was amazing at the time. Now it's like, So not saying I don't have anything to
Yeah.
say. It's like I don't have anything to add. The LWO match happened. Cool moments. That's all.
Yeah.
Do I have any moments to bring up? No, I do not. So that happened with
Yeah,
Damien
yeah.
Priest. He took down 4 dudes, but then the 4 dudes got back up. Sorry, excuse me, hiccups. The back then the 4 dudes got back up and Larry did the opposite and just took down back Damien when Finn did like the jumping cross on the
Yeah.
neck breaker thing. And then after that they were on top. That's all that happened to me. It's literally the same shit that's been happening week to week. So that's why, in short words, I don't got that much to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, from one match that was basically a segment to another match that was basically a segment, because we somehow got AOP versus Awesome Truth, which, okay, fine, we're getting some sort of payoff for Karrion Kross talking to the Miz, and did we get a payoff as
Thank
well?
God.
Because the Miz finally, I don't have to complain about you being so late on your musical talent, quote unquote. Miz is finally heel again, and it feels like the world. It feels like everything is right with the world now.
Yeah.
Hey, and also this is our last 3-hour coverage. I know we didn't announce this in the beginning of the show, but Chad, we will be back live on 10:30, not 11:30, not 12, but 10:30 p.m. EST,
Yeah.
maybe
Our usual
10:45.
SmackDown time.
So our usual SmackDown time, so 100%. We will figure out next year problems about 3-hour shows. We'll figure that out when it comes to come. But currently we will do the 10:30 time. One thing I'm happy is that R-Truth didn't communicate. R-Truth didn't communicate to his tag team partner that he came to work. He said, "Yo, I came here to help you out. I heard that you was having a problem with AOP."
Yeah.
Hey up.
For a second,
Oh, true.
yo, Watkins. When he said AOP, I thought he meant like something about One Piece because he said OP. I'm like, the short words, the acronym of OP, One Piece, or maybe like hockey or some shit. But then it's R-Truth. Like, One Piece. Is this a reference to the big 3? Yay. No. R-Truth,
Miz
and I love how the Miz responded, "Oh, authors of pain," and then R-Truth responded, "Oh, what books did they write?"
Damn it, true. It's like, I love you, but then also it's just like, but I love
books
you.
did they write? I'm like, R-Truth. And I love how the Miz just wears these suits and ties. I just want to give props to whoever is his tailor or
As he
whoever.
should.
If he's the same guy for Seth, because I think Seth shares his wardrobe person with somebody else. I think it's Seth and Becky's, and I think
His
it's
wife.
somebody else. Oh yeah, because his wife and him shares the same wardrobe person. They do actually, which is hilarious. But I think the Miz also has his own person, so really great attire they'd be having. I love how he approaches Braun Strowman right with his match of the Monster versus Monster. I love how he tries to approach him to ask him again, round 2 or I think round 3, a question like, "Hey, so last week you kept interrupting my match when I was supposed to have a match, but then you came into your own thing." And I love how R-Truth came in and interrupt, and Braun Strowman like, "Look, Miz, I know we gotta talk and everything, but can we talk later?" Miz should look annoyed from that, like.
Well, I mean, rightfully so, because it's like, see, this is what I love about heel turns in WWE, is that the heels are justified in their actions. It's not some random, it's time for the tag team to break up kind of thing. No, it's like this has been building up for a while. R-Truth keeps getting Miz into these crazy predicaments, and by crazy I mean predicaments that end up hurting the Miz. When the Miz tries to do good, because like that's the thing, like he tried to honor R-Truth, he tried to like respect his sacrifice that he made, being like, you know what,
Yeah.
you protected me from Bronson Reed, and I need to pay that forward. And he tries to, and like, yeah, you know, the one time he did get his ass kicked, yeah, but like he kept trying to because he felt like he needed to in order to help, like, kind of, you know, get justice for R-Truth. And then like when Braun Strowman comes in, it's just like, okay, that's fine, but like your wording's kind of off, dude. Like the whole like, oh, it takes a monster to beat another monster. It's like, yeah, but I kind of wanted to do this as well. And then like tonight too, it's just like, you know, Miz tries to tell him, hey, you kept interrupting my match. Why'd you interrupt my match last week? I wanted to try to do this. It's like he couldn't get a word in at all because people kept interrupting him. And like, finally he's just like, you know what, fine, I'm done trying to do the right thing. I'm just gonna do my thing then, which, yes, that is best Miz right there, when he is just doing his own thing.
I just noticed that Karrion Kross in most type of mediums, he was the little devil on the side of the Miz.
Oh yeah.
He was a little devil throughout the whole time talking to Miz,
I
like at the
laughing.
corner, and like
I was
Karrion Kross
laughing
just
backstage.
smiling, just looking around. Karrion Kross like,
Yeah. A little instigator. Yeah, instigator.
Yes, instigator.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was the pure. He was the
I was
purest
also
instigator.
Even during the
earlier when I
match,
saw-
like he was
Yeah.
out there like right next to the Miz.
Yeah. I was laughing seeing him backstage earlier, just standing there, started cracking up, but that's
Yep.
great.
But overall, the Miz turned heel. It happened. He walked away,
Yeah.
and he also ripped up the
I
shirt
like
too.
that.
He like and then threw it to
I
the
like
crowd.
that
No,
too
he
because
threw it to the
that's-
camera. I love it.
Yeah, I like that too because that's just the Miz that I've grown accustomed to.
Yes.
Because that's
Mhm.
just the Miz I grew up watching. Like every single week, he's coming out talking a lot of shit, and Miz has just always worked the best.
The
as
Miz versus
heel
John Cena
because-
next year. They used to have a good rivalry. Yeah.
Maybe,
Maybe.
Because
Maybe.
there's probably a good 3 to
Maybe.
4 to 5 other guys that probably put. before
True. I
that.
just thought of that in my head. I'm like, not the Miz
Yeah.
turning heel. Like, this is a good opportunity to set up,
Oh, no.
to set up stuff for
I
next
know.
year.
I just like
Maybe
this because
promo. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe some promo stuff.
promo-wise-
Like
promo-wise,
maybe have like a
sure,
Miz
yeah.
TV or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. That
I'll
too.
be fine with that.
Yeah.
But it's like this is just the. I mean, I get why they did it to begin with, but this is just Miz. Like some people were good as
Exactly.
faces, some people were good as heels. I'm not saying Miz couldn't
Yeah.
balance between both, but he's just a better heel.
Agreed.
I'm just so glad I don't have to hear him on the mic being late every time. Like, no, I don't think you guys understand. You guys don't get. He needs to work with a metronome. He needs to put like some AirPods in and have the metronome going for like 24 hours straight at a certain whatever beats per minute that it is. Like, do that, Miz, so you can actually be on time when you're being like, "What's up?" It's like, no,
Well,
but I
that-
don't have to worry about it anymore.
That's
I
good
don't.
to know when
Oh,
me
praise the
and
wrestling
Walker's ever
gods.
do like a karaoke. Walker's gonna hate me for the first hour if I ever do karaoke.
Oh,
'cause sometimes-
karaoke's different.
Because sometimes I'm off the market. I'm off the beat sometimes.
Nah, karaoke's different. That's just that's a fun beat. That's a fun jam right there. But yeah, I mean, other than that, hey, guess what, everybody? That was Raw. So I'm just gonna go around here with the man that is right next to the tit of a certain Viper, Vash. What were your overall thoughts on Raw tonight?
Like my boy Randy is starting out about Friday Night SmackDown, Jacob Fatu. The Miz turned heel. AOP wrote some books. In case you guys didn't know, R-Truth was questioning that. So definitely go check out an Amazon storefront. From the Authors of Pain, they wrote some really good books. And the legendary, the visionary Seth freaking Rollins returns. I hope he opens Monday Night Raw next week. And I hope to see some type of interaction with Jay and Seth. Seth saying to Jay, like, yo, I'm proud of you. You finally got the W or something between those lines that would be beautiful to see. The Monster versus Monster was fun to see. Like we mentioned earlier, some spots could have been much better organized instead of feeling so staged. Age of Dragunov, I'm gonna be very sad for you. Best of recovery for you for the next 6 to 9 months. Hopefully you're like our boy CM Punk, or hopefully you're like our boy John Cena, who was supposed to be out for 8 months but was only out for 4. So maybe Age of Dragunov, you could do a quick anime hyperbolic chamber and heal up much faster than anybody else. It showed that you have the anime in your soul. Other than that, Raw was good. Last 3 hours of our show for the rest of the year.
Thank God above. What about you, Drop? How'd you feel about Raw overall tonight?
I don't want to reiterate myself too much, but the standouts to me was Seth coming back, because I'm glad to see him back. I'm glad to see that feud with him and Bronson Reed start, so it could lead to greater things that I'm super excited to see next year, which we'll talk about that when the time comes. And I'll just say, for the most part, when it came to certain segments that the show did that I tuned in for, it did the job for me. I'll just keep it short and sweet. It did what it needed to do when it came to certain matches that I'm looking forward to, and that's what counted. I mean, the main highlight of that for me would probably have to be, if I had to like pick one segment out of the entire night that probably meant the most to me, probably have to be the Drew McIntyre and CM Punk segment. That's probably my highlight of the night.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think my highlight was the CM Punk Drew McIntyre stuff,
Oh,
but
yeah, too.
I mean, some of the other stuff too, like our weekly stories that we're having, like with the New Day and all that, like those have been that's been building up pretty well. You know, as much as I don't want to see the New Day ever break up, I can at least sink my teeth into the story that they're telling. I'm glad that the whole stuff with Gunther and Sammy's finally kind of kicking up another notch. I know we had our issues with with the main event, but I mean, again, it was still really fun. Just destruction throughout. Granted, again, could have had more, but whatever. And yeah, I mean, everything else I thought, was building up quite well. Again, pretty freaking cringe doing their thing and all that. Like, okay, fine. We've said our piece with that. And Ilya Dragunov, please, I beg you, go see Korin or Yajirobe, get yourself a sensu bean, and come back and save us. Because I mean, hell, even with damage control, we only got like a little snippet of them tonight with a good video package. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong,
that's
but
true.
it's just like that's why Kyrie's right here. Like, I didn't have my girls on screen this week, so I needed some sort of coping mechanism. But again, that was Raw. That was the show. It was pretty good. It was pretty good for a go home Raw. It was really good. But as really good as Raw was, other things that are really good is checking out all the other stuff that we have, because there's more than just wrestling stuff that we talk about, especially here on the Anima We Studio YouTube channel. But there's also other places, but I can't be the one to tell you all that. Hell, I'm just an idiot. I don't know where all that is, and I can only think of one person to kind of help me figure out where all that stuff is. It is a legend of the game, Legend of Vash. Where can I find all these spots, all these locations of things to talk about that's not just wrestling based?
Well, guys, if you're still checking out this content right now before Tuesday, 8 p.m. EST, well, guess what? If you're already checking out and it's still Tuesday, check it out on twitch.tv/AnimaWe Studio, because myself and Drop will be sidecasting, reacting to the CW premiere of NXT this Wednesday. We'll also be doing a review coverage of episode 70.5, doing the Vince documentary, the Mr. McMahon. And then this Friday, we got Weebs of the Ring episode 71, Friday Night SmackDown. Then this Saturday, we got Weebs of the Ring episode 72 for Bad Blood. Not Bloodbath, Bad Blood. That's an inside joke for anybody will know. So definitely stay tuned for the Weebs of the Ring coverage.
Yeah.
We might be launching a new show of the Weebs of the Ring tangent, maybe grappling of the week. We're launching a new show for the Anime podcast to divert into 2 different shows called Weebs Off the Binge. So we have projects coming in. We are tuning things work. So the last quarter of the year is gonna be something. Definitely for 2025, things are coming up. Things are rolling out. Optimus Prime, That's the other phrase I got. Other than that, I froze to continue on. Check all the hashtags down below. Anima We Studio, Legendary Vash, Drop This Box, at Walkers MW, and hashtag Weebs of the Ring. All the description or all the links for Watkins, for Rome, for Drop This Box, for Paul,
Yeah, who's that?
Jokestar, and all the links of wherever to find us is down below, and the Discord server as well, since it's finally organized as how I believe it could be.
Exactly. So I hope you guys enjoyed, some of the better promotion for Transformers One. Go see the movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to see it this weekend, but whatever. That's besides the point. But of course, as always, we're gonna take some time to thank you out there. That's right, you right there. That's listening to the podcast. Whether
thank you.
you're driving in your car. Hopefully, you're not driving. If you are, pay attention to the road. Working out, all that wonderful stuff. Yes, I want to take some time to thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, why not do exactly what Vash just said? We are known as Anima We Studio on all social media platforms. Just remember, that's we with a 3. Also, use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring to talk with us about anything regarding wrestling before, during, or after these events. Feedback is always appreciated, as we are nothing without you guys tuning in. Weebs of the Ring is presented by Anima We Studio. Thanks, as always, to our production team of Vash, Watkins, Drop This Box, Rome, and Jokester, as well as special thanks to JB&A for all the stuff that you guys do in the back. Thank you once again for joining us, and remember, as always, no strength or innies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good one, everybody.
Peace out, guys. Optimus Prime Pizza.
The podcast feed is coming out soon. Stay tuned.
Ooh.